Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Peace. This is The Enemy's Public, and I am Bro.Nasir. I hope everyone's enjoying the afternoon. This evening, meanwhile, as we continuously argue about the BS, we've been distracted by some agent provocateurs who serve as weapons of mass distraction. And rightfully so, we had to do some straightening in the hip hop community. So that's what we've been doing for the past few weeks. As we were disrespected, we have to show that we can come together. Once again, hip hop brings our people together. And we got to, straighten some things out. And it's just the beginning of the straightening. But meanwhile, a lot of things have been going on concerning our people. They know how to distract us, and they know what to distract us with. Yet, I've always said, watch both hands when you're in a fight. Watch both hands. They can wind the backhand and hit you with the front one. So watch both hands when you're in a fight. What we've been dealing with concerning these weapons of mass distraction is not a new thing. It's not anything new. So we just gotta handle it accordingly and just move forward. But meanwhile, it's a whole lot that has been going on concerning our people. And I'm going to play one song before, I get into what's going on among our people while they're distracting us with people trying to plagiarize and steal our culture. And because we're not going for it, people say we're divisive because we're not tolerating any disrespect. We're the divisive one because of that.
Keep on standing tall. Keep on doing what you believe. You know we're gonna.
Let me run that back. Pardon me, let me run that back. Salute my brother T. Wriggles. Thanks for tapping in. Let me run this song back. And this is an artist who slept on, and this song resonates when it comes to our people. It resonates.
And good evening. Performing her new recording on the Hidden Beats recording label, a vibrant new sound. Ladies and gentlemen, Lena.
Thought I'd seen it all. That's when trouble called. They say trouble's not your friend, but it helped me know who I am. Through my adversity, I discovered me. Healthy, strong, and free will end. I know where I'm going. I love where I've been. I would do it all again if in the end it makes me the woman I am. Always here for you, gonna be a friend. You know I'll always love you, I wanna see us all win. Keep on breaking down the walls. Keep on standing tall. Keep on setting the people free. It's the only way to make it. Keep on fighting for the cause. We gotta keep on standing tall. Keep on doing what you believe. You know we're gonna make it. I am, because I choose to be wonderful at ease. Nothing holding me, the sky's the limit. Hold on to your pride. Don't give way to die. We gotta keep pushing, keep pushing. Come on, I know where I'm going. I love where I've been. I would do it all again if in the end it makes me the woman I am. Always here for you, gonna be a friend. You know I'll always love you, I wanna see us all win. Keep on breaking down the walls. Keep on setting the people free. It's the only way to make it. Keep on fighting for the cause. We gotta keep on standing tall. Keep on doing what you believe. You know we're gonna make it. Oh, keep on. So many before us, they paved the way. They made it possible to have what we have today. Like many before us, we should learn from our mistakes. Struggle not in vain. Don't let nobody take your hope away. Keep on breaking down the walls. Keep on standing tall. Keep on setting the people free. It's the only way to make it. Yeah. Keep on fighting for the cause. We gotta keep on standing tall. Keep on doing what you believe. You know we gonna make it. Keep on, we gon' make it. Keep on standing tall. Keep on setting the people free. Keep on fighting for the cause. We gotta keep on standing tall. We gotta keep on standing tall. Let's save the people. People. Standing tall. Let's save the people. Yeah. Come on. Somebody help me.
Again, meanwhile, while we are dealing with, things that we had to straighten out. Peace to my sister, Copper Goddess. Thanks for tapping in. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. I know it's 9 people in the chat. Peace to my wife. I know she's watching. She's always watching. She's my biggest supporter. And I thank everybody for joining me this evening. Yeah, but meanwhile, while we have to deal with straightening out a few things, there's a whole lot of things that's been happening to us and around us. And we have to not be distracted by the agent provocateurs. You know, my sentiment, greetings to Shawanda Williams. Peace, salute, sis. Thanks for tapping in. We have to keep in mind that, you know, even though Fat Joe is running his mouth disrespectful, that he's a part of agenda. He's a part of an agenda that he's being rewarded for. You know, he know what he's saying is not the truth, but he's being controlled, but he wants to act like a boss while he's being controlled. Greetings to my sister Sharon Walker. And we're going to get into this. Let me find my video presentation. So, you know, we fall a victim if we're not careful. Business is warfare. Okay, mind you, business is warfare. And someone trying to plagiarize or take what's ours, that's a part of business warfare. We got to keep in mind that it's a whole lot of people who don't have our best interests at heart. They will align themselves with us, but they won't form no coalition with us. It's a different from when people start using these trick words like the alignment. Yes, people will align themselves with us, but do they have our best interests in mind or in heart? Most of the time, no. And we have to keep that into consideration because it happens too often that people around us come around us just to see what they can get from us. They will learn the lingo. They will even do the art form. They will dress like us. They'll talk like us. Get as close to us as possible. But their motives are impugned. And we need to understand that when it comes to people coming among us, we have to watch them. See, I've been watching this dude on a protracted period, and I see him for who he is. I've been seeing him for who he is. He's been rewarded for the things that he's doing now. You know, out of everybody that host shows that pertains to our people and our culture, they picked this dude. So I know he's serving an agenda. You know, as much of a backstabber he is, there's other people doing the same thing. And he's doing it on behalf of some people. Also, salute to my brother, Hurricane JW. Again, meanwhile, as we continuously argue about, you know, some of it is BS and some of it is pertinent, this is what's happening. Share my screen.
Behind bars for a murder he did not commit. And now this Brooklyn native who was exonerated back in 2020 is still adjusting to life outside prison.
New York State has had the third highest number of exonerations in the country. Jennifer Bisram takes a look at what life is like after finally being freed.
Why'd you buy this house?
I buy it because the trees over there, like, it makes me think of freedom.
210 miles away from his New Jersey home at
They always
Correctional Facility in New York is where Gerard Demond spent most of his adult life.
put us so far away from our families when, they so-called serving justice to one of us who they convict of a crime. But this brother spent nearly 30 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. He wasn't in the state of New York when the crime was done. As a matter of fact, he was all the way in Georgia, but he was arrested, tried, and convicted of a crime he didn't commit.
As inmate 89A 8836, with many sleepless nights on hard jail beds, surrounded by prison guards and violence.
Jump in there, boom, boom.
Now at age 62, he's finally living outside of prison walls in a house with his family, including his 2-year-old daughter, Layla.
What happened? You want more?
No more.
No more? Okay. Good girl.
It's like time stopped at 23 and I continue all this. So now I'm back out here. It's like try to play catch up with a lot of what I missed out on. Yes, I grew up in jail, literally. All those decades was gone just like that.
He was convicted for a 1987 murder in Brooklyn. In 2020, he was exonerated by the Brooklyn DA's office after they say key information was withheld from the case.
When this murder happened, you weren't even in New York City?
No, at all. I was not in New York City at all.
Where were you?
In Dannelsonville, Georgia, with my girlfriend at the time.
What was going through your mind?
This can't be happening to me. Why am I going to prison for something I didn't do? And I was like, damn, how many other people probably going through this? How many, black men from my hood?
According to the National Registry of Exonerations, New York has had 347 exonerations since 1989, 157 alone here in New York City between 2014 and 2022. Brooklyn, where Demond is from, has had the most in New York City, 40 since its conviction review unit was created in 2014. Most of the exonerations are of black men.
It's a struggle. Life is a struggle for me even now.
Demond sued the city and was awarded over $13 million. But he says no amount of money can bring back all the years of his life lost and take away the nightmares and emotional trauma.
Money doesn't cure you. Money don't do nothing for you, for the soul. You take the shackle off, but you're still incarcerated. Because the pain, the scars, it's never removed, regardless.
4 years later, he still doesn't feel free.
I'm having a difficult time coping with things because, sometimes I act like I'm still locked up. Sometimes when I'm making reference to going upstairs, I say I'm going to my cell.
He says each one of his over 10,000 days in jail was a struggle.
No, I wanted somebody to kill me. Yeah, I really did, because I didn't think I could do all that time.
And every day now is a mental fight.
Still got it. I was frightened to come home, put it like that.
Why?
Because this is a new world. It's like I was comfortable for some reason. I knew what I had to do in there. For the most part, I'm lost out here,
On this fall day, Demond shares that his family and building cars help him to heal.
I'm going to therapy. But I have no peace. Money, everything I have, that, but it's still a burden. I'm searching for something. I don't know what it is. Part of me is in there.
But he says just like he never gave up on his innocence, he will not give up on feeling free. Jennifer Bisram, CBS News, New York.
And the ordeal continues. The Brooklyn DA's office says there has not been another suspect identified in the murder Demond spent time in prison for. Experts say fewer people are being wrongfully convicted today because of tools like DNA and cell phone towers.
Yeah, cell phone towers, but a lot of these cops still try to frame us and get us put in cages, which takes me to the next video.
Cop fired for falsifying evidence.
Video courtesy of Indisputable with Dr. Richard Ritchie. Fair use.
Led to wrongful conviction. Put up the cop. I'm taking you to Ohio. Officer Brooke Cano of the Whitehall Police Department has been fired after being accused of falsifying actual evidence, which in fact led to the conviction, wrongful arrest of an innocent woman in October. That's according to the chief, Mike Crispin. The cop's termination comes after the chief said an extensive investigation happened into the allegations of falsified evidence and documentation. Investigation began.
Salute my good brother T. Riggles. Do a mic check, brother.
How do I sound? How do I sound?
Loud and clear, brother. Loud and clear. If you want me to stop the video, just ask me and I'll do so, brother.
Yeah, I was just the first story, man. That yeah, there ain't no money can cure that.
No, sir. No,
How many
sir.
days? How many days was that? 10,775 days. Yeah, bro. Like, no, this nothing can cure that.
It happens a lot to us, brother. You know, it happens a lot to us. Sometimes, it's been times where the police even would frame one of us when one of them have done the crime. It's been those cases. You find out that a cop did it, but they'll frame one of us or they'll frame somebody else and put them where they belong.
Like, I could only imagine, what was going on in the 80s out in here in LA, where like all the brothers have told me the stories, how they'll take one of the gang members and then drop them off in the enemy's hood and just leave them out there like, yo.
Brother, they've done that in my city. As small as my city is in proximity, they used to do that. The police would snatch somebody up on the rival turf and they'll drop them down right in the middle of enemy territory. But we got hit to it. The last time they did that, we surrounded the brother and we walked them back to safety because we seen what they was trying to do. We walked the brother back to safety and let nobody do nothing to him.
And after the woman's arrest in the incident, and her mother filed a formal complaint. According to Chief Crispin, it was discovered that the officer falsely documented a confession in an official report that never happened, which resulted in the woman's arrest and felony charges. In the cop's report, she wrote that she and another officer were following up on a vehicle that fled from officers 2 different nights. The officers found the suspected vehicle at a residence and spoke with a woman who was inside the home. Officer Cano reports that the woman said her daughter had the vehicle on those nights. Following that officer's interview with the mother, she went to the daughter's work to question her. Officer Cano reported that her daughter admitted to fleeing from officers, but the body cam footage of the officer does not reflect it. Quote, "Our system of justice relies on the integrity of our police officers," said Chief Mike Crispin. Quote,
which is exactly why we don't receive any justice, because it relies on the credibility of their officers, in which they lack. They have no credibility. I don't know where they find these guys at and what is the criteria in some of these departments to become an officer. Because when you see a camera pointed at you and you violate your departmental policy and somebody's rights while a camera is pointed at you, Somebody must have told you that you can do that, because police culture is not consistent with departmental policy or the training of the academy. When you get with an FTO, the FTO tell you to forget about everything that you were taught in the academy.
The word of a police officer suspends the liberties of a citizen. The highest level of trust is broken. End quote. Crispin says this is not the first time the officer has been in trouble for serious misconduct. In a separate incident, Crispin said that the officer used excessive force against a pregnant woman during an arrest and referred to the woman's companion with a derogatory name. Additionally, Officer Cano did not provide medical attention to the companion following a use of force incident, which, quote, demonstrated unprofessional behavior and a wanton disregard for her duty to render aid. Cano was suspended for 3 days prior to the investigation, which did result in termination. The chief went on to say, Chief Crispin went on to say, quote, it's a violation of everything we stand for. I have zero tolerance for mistreatment of the community. I have zero tolerance for lying and integrity issues, end quote. The Fraternal Order of Police, which previously issued a unanimous vote of no confidence in Chief Crispin, is
now check this out, Brother T. Wriggles, because this police chief did the right thing. The Fraternal Order of Police tried to go after the chief, not the cop who destroyed their credibility. The chief who had the credibility to go after the rogue cop that was, bringing distrust to the entire community. This is absolutely backwards, bro. And that's why we can't trust you.
Totally backwards, yo. I'm sorry for cutting you off, but this makes no sense. But Brother Nasir, I can't even get upset, yo. The reason why I can't even get upset is because I know how the police force got started.
Yes, sir. And
it's it's already in my head, as a revolutionary also,
yes.
is that like who told us, like who gave you the memo we're supposed to get equal rights? Who told you that, brothers and sisters? Who told you? I mean, the person doing that to a pregnant lady and all of that, like this is what they're about. I mean, yeah, they got to clean up their act, but I'm not expecting them to.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. It's with me, it's awareness to keep our people, keep in mind this is who we're dealing with. When you encounter one of them, chances are, you are in danger because they have the weapons and you don't. And they have the mindset and you don't. And some of us don't think it can happen to us until it happened to us. It's just awareness to me. I don't get upset about it. I get upset when somebody's harmed, but it doesn't surprise me. I've been around for a little bit and nothing's changed. It's exactly the same as it ever was, brother. Salute to my brother Relentless.
Salute, brothers.
Is outraged by.
You were saying something, brother?
No, I was just, as you were talking, I was just reflecting on what happened to me. Walking down the street and then the undercover car just came out of nowhere. I'm walking from the gas station and then the police officer says, yeah, we saw you come out of the hotel. Like, huh? I was like, okay, dude. All right, whatever. And at that moment, I said, I'm just going to comply with everything. Go ahead. You're gonna violate every right that I have. So go right ahead. You want to put my hands up? Okay, cool. You want me to jump on one leg? All right, cool. I already know the outcome of this if I don't comply. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I want to live here.
I understand, but a lot of times, brother, compliance don't mean anything to them people, brother. They're wicked. Compliance sometimes is, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes compliance means absolutely nothing to a person who has their mind made up of what they're going to do to you. Nothing can deter them. Nothing.
That's facts. That's facts. And I have to honestly agree with you. Just like the brother that was that phenomenal brother that was part of the Air Force, like that hurt. That really hurt. That hurt, bro. It just, he was on his way, very successful, bright, good. He was really mastering his craft, and then he had that, he had that target on him. That targeting of brothers, man, that's one thing that really gets underneath my skin.
Yeah, I've always thought that young brother was he was profiled and lined up because of his success and because he was able to, as a young brother, to acquire what some of those older Caucasian people had at his young age. I don't believe none of what he said happened with the brother happened at his place. I believe that young brother was lined up by those neighbors. Again, brother, it's taking you back to Tulsa, OC, Wilmington, all these places where these people came after us because of economic envy. They envy what we can acquire at a young age that they took their whole damn life to acquire. They got to go into the gym and work out for a half a year to a year to be built like we are naturally. And they don't like that. They don't like that.
By determination. Keep up the chief. Keep them up. To the good people of White Fall, you are lucky. You are blessed to have a chief like that. Anytime the fraternal order of police is against your chief, you have a keeper. Brian Steele, president of the Fraternal Order of Police, Capital City Lodge number 9, said, quote, "These are frivolous charges. I've read the charges. They're saying lack of probable cause. I've been a cop, not only a cop, an inner city police officer for 20 years. She absolutely had probable cause to effect the arrest." End quote. But Brian, she lied. She falsified documentation, doubled down on it when questioned, had a history of use of force. You have a chief who actually enforces protocol and laws. This is what it looks like. He's not doing anything different than what the rules say. You're saying, but she still could have did it anyway if she wanted to. But she lied on official documentation. The us and them mentality as it relates to copy community was launched in this very same manner. Having someone that's adverse to community and then covering up for them.
That's why I say people shouldn't be able to be on the police department if they're not from the community. And the criteria to become a police officer, that you have to move there and live there. We can't have people doing dirt to us and going back to their community and tell stories about the nigger heads they bashed. We can't have that. We should be able to, see them out in public. If you want to go out in public and not be seen, you will have to go out of town. But we're supposed to be able to see these cops come out of their house and go to work, but not them driving 10, 15, 20 miles away after they did so much dirt to our people and violated our rights or worse. What do you think, Brother T. Riggles?
Yeah, when this subject comes up, like the only thing that rings in my head is what Dick Gregory was breaking down, basically saying the same thing you're saying. It would be best to have the people that live in the community be the police officers there. At least they can gain respect from, if they were living in the community since 16 and now 20 something, 30, 40. Do you know how much respect and honor everyone will know? Oh yeah, that's Mr. McRoy over there. McRoy's over there, man. They've been in this community forever. And one thing that Dick Gregory also said was that to give police officers an incentive to not do harm, and that incentive might be come in the forms of, hey, if you don't have to use your weapon and all of that, your children get to go to college for free. You know what I mean? Or your medical bills, something, an incentive to say, okay, I'm not going to pull my weapon all the time. But when you have an order, especially out here in LA, and I'm not afraid to say it, right? And they all know what they do out here, Brother Nasir, you know, with the club. You feel me? If you want to be part of the club, you know, you got to take a brother's life, and like that's unacceptable in my
Exactly. Exactly. You're right, brother. I agree with you. I know where you're going with that, and I know what happened in LA, and I know you know firsthand, you know, with the clicking within the ranks, with the executioners out there, the actual, you know, has Hispanic gang out there, or the executions that's among the police department under Francisco, what's his name? Alex Villanueva out there in LA. And they were targeting us. They were targeting us. Matching tattoos, but the man came out and he denied it when they had matching tattoos. And any one of those fellow officers that would try to blow the whistle on them, you seen what happened to them. They were murdered.
Yeah.
They were set up. They was lined up.
I think that happened in Torrance. Was it the one in Torrance?
I believe it was. I believe a cop was lined up in Torrance, and one was lined up in Baltimore because he was going to blow the whistle. It happens everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy because, you know, brothers out here that understand, you know, all the locations, right? All the brothers know not to go to Torrance. And I think they just recently, Torrance just got caught, you know, because they had a brotherhood. I think that the KKK was part of that, right? And then they got busted, you know, so they were under investigation for a minute, and then they dropped the hammer on them. But this stuff still continues, yo, and it's, and I tell you something, it's not be fearful, you know, but you know, every time when you got gangsters now, okay, when you got gangsters that, you know, they're tough, but when they see the police officer, everything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Take off the hat, like, no. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah,
like, you know, it's like, you know, the FBI itself said that most, especially they said major police departments all across the United States were infiltrated by so-called white supremacist groups. So they were infiltrated. They're all, you know, my sentiment is the entire government is a cesspool. Nobody has credibility. None of them are any good. From the person who just got hired all the way up to the commander-in-chief, nobody's any good as far as I'm concerned. None of them.
Well, I would say this. I would say this about this whole situation, right? Because I was, you know, just thinking to myself that, you know, how do the ones that control everything have power over everything? Well, you only need a selective few that have these top spots, and then you can have it just trickle down. Do you see what I'm saying? So, you know, especially when we speak about all of these authority agents, and I'll throw in the government into this also. Like, since we have been infiltrated, like, that's a hard thing for everyone that's going into these fields to accept. Like, we've been infiltrated. So if you're good, stay good, because the temptation of, hey, and the pressure is coming, to join, to have you cross over. And so, long story short, I think within all of these organizations, you've just got your good and then you've got your bad, and no one's going to say anything, and I know what you're going to say, like, well, they should say something. Well, it's hard to say that, because when you play on a football team or a basketball team, you're not going to tell on your teammate, so that's where.
But they're no good. They're no more good than the people who they say are bad people. If they can say, I'm a good cop, and you watch the bad cop violate somebody's rights or abuse somebody, it's like, show me a good cop if you can stand around and watch that and don't, but they expect us to snitch on our homie. You know what I'm saying? But they'll call a cop a rat for doing the right thing. They call him a rat, just like people on the streets call a snitch a rat, when they got the whole thing messed up. A snitch is somebody who was involved in the caper and told because he got caught. That's a snitch. That's a rat. But if I wasn't involved in that, how the hell am I a snitch? How am I a rat if I wasn't involved in your bullshit? How? And when you're in my community destroying it, how?
Yeah.
And some of these cats with especially these police officers, show me a good one if they exist. Show me a good one. I've seen 3 female cops do the right thing. 3. I've seen some male cops who tried. They was killed before they was able to do it. They exist, but brother, it's far and few between and very little.
And see, just right there, when you explained, okay, if you tell, this is going to happen. You know what I mean? And that, just I don't even know how to put myself in that situation. Where it's that if I do say something on my fellow teammate, I've got, now I'm going to have whoever's in control, I'm going to have special forces after me. And, it's a dangerous game, and, shouts out to.
Just like Christopher Dorner. Christopher Dorner was put in that, in that situation right over there where you're at, brother. He was put in that situation. He told on a fellow cop who was abusing his power against a citizen, and you see what they did to him. After he went to the military, fought for this country, came back, joined the police force, and thinking he was doing the right thing. But when he seen, that they wasn't on his side and they set out to actually destroy him after ostracizing him, getting him fired, lost his family in the whole 9, you know what happened? The brother snapped. He snapped.
Yeah.
They did that to him. So he's a prime example of what they'll do to you just because you do the right thing. The young Caucasian woman who snatched her sergeant up off her brother when he was trying to mace a man who was cuffed already in a patrol car, he grabbed her by the throat. The sister in Patterson, New Jersey, she intervened when a Caucasian cop was abusing a brother. She snatched him up off the brother, and he beat her up. A fellow cop beat a sister cop up in front of other cops. They didn't arrest him, which they should have done, and she ended up losing her job. She lost her job after being beat up. And she lost her pension, I think it was like 15 years, and they just finally this year gave it to her.
Wow.
This year. Ruined the sister. They know what they know they have to eventually do the right thing, but they'll put that on the shelf just to see you suffer. That's how wicked these people are. They'll put it on the shelf. They know they eventually got to do the right thing, but they just want to see you suffer. That's how it is.
In front of that same community. This chief is not doing so. So you don't like him. You vote no confidence. I'm sure he's heartbroken. In response to Steele, Chief Crispin said, quote, well, if you think what I just said was frivolous, then I guess I would ask them, do you think this was frivolous when you take someone's liberties from them? When they did not do what you said they did? Steele believes Cannon was targeted for speaking out against the chief, but the chief said they have to do their job to protect the community from officers doing what they're not supposed to do. Quote, whether Cap City 9 likes it or not, we will make sure our officers do not mistreat the community, Crispin said. Crispin said they've passed Officer Cano's case to the city attorney's office to determine if criminal charges should be filed. He added that they did not have any plans to review all of Cano's cases at this point, but they might consider a more thorough review if some came forward with allegations. He's letting you know the move. Now, let me
just imagine, bro. You changing a tire. You're changing a tire. You with your little brother, you're changing a tire. Female cop pull up, outright racist. She asks you what you're doing, but she already knows because it's self-explanatory. She see that you're physically and visibly changing a tire. And the only thing she can think to do is pull out her gun and pull out her taser and just continuously tase you and call you and you know, call you a bitch and make you feel like you're less a man because she got a weapon on her. And when she find your weapon in which you had the right to have, this is what I don't like when our people say, well, he did have a gun. So the hell what? You have a right to have a gun if you want one, like everybody else. But she continuously tased him while the camera was on her. Didn't even care that a camera was watching her do that. They thumb their nose at a camera. They don't care nothing about a camera. They were actually escalated just for seeing a camera. That would make them escalated. Why? To me, it's how we word our questioning. We have to word our questioning when we talk to these wicked demons so that they will incriminate themselves. Because they lose their qualified immunity if you make them acknowledge that what they're doing is wrong. You got to make them acknowledge with how you say it. Because if they go in there acting like they didn't know no better, they're going to get qualified immunity, which should be illegal anyway. But with the question you ask, you should be the one asking questions. Don't let the cop ask questions. You ask the questions to make him incriminate himself or make her incriminate herself. Therefore, when they go into the courtroom, they can't say, well, they didn't know. You said you knew what you was doing on this camera. That's how you get them. And if that don't work, there's other ways of getting them. We can't we continue to let them violate our rights like that. We can't. And especially physically abuse us. We can't continuously allow that.
No, and I agree with you. And I've seen some of the shorts where people are really going in and questioning the police, and then you'll see that damn, the police officer don't even know the law, and the person saying no, this is the law, whoopity whoop whoop, and you're supposed to know this and do this. This is a public place. I can record here. And the police officer was like, no, you got to go. Wait, no. That's not the rule. Section, blase states. And the cop sometimes doesn't even know that rule. So it's like, I feel I feel where, you know, it's almost like sometimes we're forced to know the law, but at the same time, you don't have to like that. But if they got that X on you, man, if you
You're right,
mark,
brother.
if you marked, man, like, and it's sad to say this. It's sad to say this, but it's just the truth. If you marked, man, that's a wrap, bro.
Can you imagine, brother? The police can go in and say that he or she didn't know and get qualified immunity for not knowing their job. But if you go in and say you didn't know, what do they say to you? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. They tell us that. They tell us that as a civilian, but they don't hold the cop accountable for not knowing his job when they should be actually tested quarterly, because they shouldn't just get the job and be allowed to go out there and just do the job. No, they should. Okay, how much you know now about the job as far as like the amendments, state and federal. The state you're in, the federal amendments, and the municipality that you're in. You telling me you don't know the laws of your city, but you're out here after, you know, not enough training as far as I'm concerned to deal with life or death situations, as far as like 6 months of training. How do you go out here and know how to deal with life and death situations when a woman who's into doing hair and cosmetology and all that stuff, she gets 2 years of training just to do hair, but you get 6 months of training to deal with life and death situations. I mean, make sense.
6 months. And this is where you see out here in LA, I really do respect the sheriffs like a little bit more than the LAPD, right? Just on the simple fact that they got to spend 4 years in the penitentiary. So, you know, when you pull someone over, if a sheriff pulls someone over here, that sheriff would just look at you, right, and can feel your vibration and be like, yeah, you're not a threat. I you know, speak to you respectively. Do you understand what I'm saying? So with the, like you just said, 6 months, like, for a life or death situation, 6 months of training? No, it doesn't make sense.
Do you know the sheriff is the original law enforcement?
Yeah.
That's the original law enforcement, because the name sheriff means the law. It's Sharif. That means the law. That's what Sharif means, the law. Sometimes as a matter of fact, it's spelled the same way. Sheriff, but it's really Sharif. It means the law. But police, it's exactly what it sounds like. Police, policy. They enforce policy. The sheriff enforces the law. The police don't do nothing but enforce policy. It's two different things.
Yeah, and
policy enforcement,
two different things.
And law enforcement. The sheriff is the real law enforcement. The police is the policy enforcers. Because when you go in to these places, you've seen it, you just mentioned it yourself. When somebody's in a public facility and they're recording and the people want to enforce their policy that the auditor is not bound to because he don't work there. Only an employee is supposed to be subservient to company policy, not those who don't work there. And they just don't get that. That's your policy, not mine. You have to adhere to that policy. Not those who come there in a public facility. But I'm not going, I'm distinguishing them by their original title. But I'm not under no illusion that any one of them are better than the other. As far as the sheriff and the police, they both are wicked as hell, as my sentiment. They're both the same. They have closed ranks. There's no distinguishing them. They close ranks. They're the same people.
Yeah, and we have.
I've seen the sheriff enforce policy.
Say it again.
I've seen the sheriff in certain instances enforce power, or at least attempt to enforce power. It was a sheriff officer that walked into that sister's house and murdered her over the summer. Okay, so they're no good, none of them. Worthless. Sean Grayson was a sheriff officer in Springfield, Illinois. Sheriff. So he's no more better than the damn police officers.
Well, yeah, as you know, as you know, all the rappers and Tupac and all of that would call them gangs. You know, I would change that word. For me, this is just for me. I would change. Oh, so that's your team. You know, and once I realized, you know, just for everyone, you know, especially if you come to LA, you want to be cool with sheriffs. You don't want to get on a sheriff's kind of bad side in a way, because I heard that the sheriff, no matter where you go in the United States, a sheriff, if you move from LA and then now you want to live in Alabama, Texas, or Georgia, that sheriff from LA can come down to where you at in a different state and arrest you. I said, wow, okay, cool. At least I understand that. I'm not going to really piss a sheriff off.
Well, they, you know, the sheriff, if it's, you know, in New Jersey, with the exception of a certain northern counties, the sheriff officers are in the courtroom. They're county officers.
Yeah.
And in my county in New Jersey, the sheriff officers are county officers. They deal with the courts. They do, like, you know, warrants and stuff. They do that, but they mostly in the court. They have investigators that do warrants and all that, but they're not like patrolmen, you know,
no,
like a regular, you know, municipality.
Right.
They're mostly county here.
Yeah, same here. They're in the courts. You know, you got, for us, it's the LAPD, and then you got the highway patrol. They do all of the hustling and bustling, you know, ticketing everyone. The sheriff, right, you know, they've got their own responsibilities. You know what I mean? So
they transport it to the jails and all that stuff.
Right.
Stuff
right.
like that.
Let me tell you why I don't think this chief is caping, as we would say on Glenwood, because he refers to the issue as an officer's issue. If you have seen previous chiefs that are still trying to be gatekeepers to an old guard system, will say something against a cop that's obviously corrupt. All right, just you got to throw the guy under the bus. And what will the chief say? This is one bad apple. We have good cops here. Let not this one person, et cetera, et cetera. This chief said, listen, I don't give a damn who you are. All officers have to do right by this community. That small contextualization, that little bit of a language dynamic, lets you know he stands differently in his understanding of his job than many.
Now I'm going to move on to Kansas City. We're going to be all over the place, my brother, Tirigos. Different issues also, not just law enforcement. We're going to deal with
from the station that's working.
We're going to deal with people who are supposed to be public servants and who's supposed to, you know, some say they serve and protect. Some are supposed to protect those who are the most innocent among us, and they fail to do so. So we're going to be dealing with that also, brother.
Yeah, let's dive into it. Let's dive in.
You're watching Fox 4 News at 9.
My gut just tells me when you've been involved in this many incidents of violence that probably there's other professions that you should probably seek.
Tonight, Kansas City's police department is settling another lawsuit involving the same officer. In this latest lawsuit, a woman will be awarded $65,000 after she accused Officer Blaine Newton of assault. I'm John Holt.
I'm Bria Love. Newton has been sued and investigated for killing 3 people in 2 different incidents all over the last 4 years. Fox 4's Dave DeMarco live at KCPD headquarters with the video that was the base of this
Did you hear what they just said, bro?
In the last 4 years.
Just how many people he's killed in the line of duty. Like he's on a damn TV show, like he's on Law and Order or something.
3 people in 2 different incidents all over the last 4 years. Fox 4 Newton has been sued and investigated for killing 3 people in 2.
He's almost as bad. Well, he's worse because Sean Grayson killed 1 person that we know about anyway. But he was on 6 departments in 4 years. But this dude killed 3 people in the last 4 years. And they just figuring out that he's a damn liability. That's crazy.
2 different incidents all over the last 4 years. Fox 4's Dave DeMarco live at KCPD headquarters with the video that was the base of this most recent lawsuit. Dave?
And that plaintiff, who was a Walmart shopper back in 2022, says that she simply was trying to record an arrest with her cell phone when she says she was subject to assault, battery, and false imprisonment, all by that officer whose name you've heard before, Blaine Newton.
Attorney John Paserno says Bermika Mitchell didn't initially plan to sue KCPD officer Blaine Newton for what you see here in a Platte County Walmart in September of 2022. But then she'd learned more about the officer's alleged history the next summer, when he shot 2 people and injured a third as he came upon someone in a van pointing a gun at another vehicle near 31st Street and Van Brunt. It was the same officer that sparked protest in 2020 when he shot and killed Donnie Sanders. Investigators later said Sanders was not armed during the incident. Newton was not charged in the case. And later the same year, he was captured on video putting his knee on a pregnant woman's back.
Now this right here is real sensitive, brother. This part right here, putting his knee on a pregnant woman's back. And he still get to walk around chest out with his head up and not on a swivel. To me, that is so problematic, brother. You have anything to say to this, brother?
Hey, listen, man. Like, see, this is where you get this fire raging inside me, right? And what I'm taking from all of this is what I'm getting. I guess certain things need bodies, like Miss Macy. She got shot in the face. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes.
See, when you get shot in the face or the head, this is a sign of organized hit. And when you shoot the brain, the body still remains alive. So whenever you hear anything like that, that's an execution, and body parts now can be used for, we say the black market, but I think it's even more sinister than that, Brother Nasir. I think it even goes another step higher, where rituals are done also. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying, brother. You're right, because they have more than one solstice. They have 4 of them a year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Depending on the year when it happens. Brother, you're on to something. Keep going.
Right? and with these, like, this is some high level. These are the things that, the public, we're never supposed to know, but this is really happening, and they know which people to select. And I can guarantee you, Nasir, I'm almost like 80-20 on this, especially with the brother that was in the Air Force. Like, he had something, like his light, something about that brother. Do you know what I mean? Because once you told me that story, I never forgot that. That brother's still on my mind. You know what I mean? Because the police officer that probably locked eyes with him, you knew that, in the eyes, hey man, you might be military or something, because you got this look and the way how he addressed So that's my only claim to this higher level ritualistic thing going on here.
You know, what I don't get sometimes is how some of us don't value our lives because of how we deal with situations when we encounter people that we know will harm us. If you know emphatically, if you know what this man or woman's about to do, value your life more than you value theirs. That's all I'm saying. Value your life more than you value theirs. Because they're going to do you harm and they don't care about doing you harm because of whatever power they think they have or whatever power that's backing them. And you shouldn't even concern yourself with that. You know the saying, brother. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. That's it. Peace, my brother, Big Dog Fulio J. Thanks for tapping in. I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. And some of us just don't get it yet. We don't value our lives enough to fight for it. Now, if you end up dying in the midst of that, but I see people who didn't do nothing to just let them do it. Nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah.
Have some fight in you for yourself. Trying to stay here because what they do, they tell them to make it back home. Don't go out and serve the public. You know, saying you're more concerned with officer safety than public safety, but you out here among us. Nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah. And I will say this, you know, with I'll speak. I'll shed some light with the LAPD. You know that, I feel that I'm a really good judge of character when I can just look at a person. Do you know what I mean? And with some of the police officers that I've ran into, like you're okay, dude. You know, and I get it. You're just doing your job. You know, my tag was expired after 4 days, and you're just doing your job. I get it. But then there are some that you can just. Pardon my French with this word, but some of them will give you this prick vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? And then so at that point, when you come in with this prick vibe type of person, if you don't have the X on you, I would just advise everyone, hey man, just comply. Just comply.
Yeah, but you do have some who are out just doing their job. They see you with an expired tag, they pull you over. They see you're speeding, they pull you over. You have some who would just give you the ticket and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You have some that would just do that. Just give you the ticket. And then you got those other ones. You got those other ones that'll be like, brother Big Dog coming through. Salute, Big Dog.
Salute. The champ. The champ is here. The champ is here.
Salute, my brother. How you doing?
Salute. Mic check. Can y'all hear me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, loud and clear.
Yeah,
much love and respect, brother. Enemies, public, T-Regulars, and everybody in the chat, man. I was just tuning in. I'm had to do something for my wife real quick, but I'm listening. Much love to all of y'all. Y'all already know. But go ahead, brother. I'm here.
Salute.
Muting up.
Ghetto Child Clinic. Salute, family. Yeah. And that's what they do, bro. We have and what we have to do is we have to value our lives, and like they trying to go home, we're trying to go home. Then you got those who are overzealous. They want to make a name for themselves. You know what I'm saying? And they have career motives about like the cop. I forgot what town it was. I did the story. The cop he had aspiration of being a narcotics officer, but instead of him climbing up the ranks and taking the detective's test, he overzealous He planting drugs on people and ruining people's lives. You know, and he got caught planting drugs on people, and they threw the book at him, rightfully so. But you don't ruin somebody's life like that. You pull somebody over and you're putting the drugs in their car. That means you are taking the drugs out of evidence. Either you're buying the drugs from somebody, a drug dealer, or you're taking the drugs out of evidence. Turned out that he took the drug out of evidence. That makes him an outright stinking ass criminal, bro.
Yeah.
He's a criminal. He deserved more than jail to me when you do that.
Yeah, he should be thrown into general population.
Lions den. Put them in a lion. They should have lions dens where they can just throw people like him in a lion's den and let's see how tough he is in there with that damn lion. Straight up. When you do stuff like that, when you violate the trust of the people like that, which I never trust them in the first place, but that's a direct violation when you could plant drugs on people and set them up. And some of these people lost their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Lost their family, went to prison, found out they were innocent later. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, like the brother 30 years. Like, come on, y'all. 30 years. Like, do you know what you have done? Like that should, with stuff like that, man, honestly, that's something spiritual got to happen to these individuals that do stuff like that. Like something's got to give out off top. But I would say this though, Brother Nasir. Look. I dodged the bullet. And this is how I dodged the bullet, right? Because I was trying to get to this, my little Pop Warner, my cousin's little practice, right? So I'm driving in the carpool lane solo, right? Pull me over. Man, got pulled over. Look, I know I ain't got this ticket's about to be like $600, $700, right? So look, me and the cop had a good conversation, talked about the car I was in, the Audi, and then went to the court office. This is what y'all do, y'all. When you got these tickets like this, look, tell them you need an extension. Extend it. And then pray. This is where you got to pray, right? That the cop don't show up when it's time. And my cop didn't show up. Man, I left that mug so proud, happy. I said, man, the conversation we had worked.
Greetings today. Can you dig it? Thanks for tapping in, fam. I haven't seen you in a while. Salute.
Who is that?
Today, can you dig it?
Oh, yeah, that's Santana. What's up, my dude? Salute, my brother. Salute. That's my bro right there.
Yeah, they put that family right there, part of the team right there, brother. Today, can you dig it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's with that. But putting your knee in a pregnant woman back, that right there, brother, is just.
I'm about to flip.
That's power right there, bro.
Yeah. You about to make me flip.
It's a coward.
He's
a coward, bro.
Yeah.
Just think of the numbers of officers that go their entire career and don't discharge their firearm, or the number of officers that go their entire career and don't kill anyone. And here you have an officer who is admittedly, shot and killed 3 different people.
Now, some police officers are so overzealous and they so wicked and trigger happy that if they don't pull their weapon or if they haven't killed anyone, they have failed as a cop. I know cops who didn't pull their gun their whole career because they know how to deal with people. I know cops that'll throw down with you with their hands. I grew up with them. But you got cops that the first thing they do is reach. They reach. The first thing they do is reach to that Uncle Mike holster or that pancake holster. They reach for it. They got their gun in your face because it's not, they use this thing that they're scared, but you got the weapons on you. You got a duty belt full of weapons. And some of them have, guns in their ankle also. Guns all over the place. And then they have tactical vests on, tactical gear on, and not even a part of a damn tactical team. That's the crazy part. Wearing tactical gear, and then 4 and 5 clips on them. Where are you going that you got 4 and 5 clips on the vest? That means you have declared war on the people.
That part.
That's what that means. You declared war on the people. You ready for war.
The situation at the Platte County Walmart less life-altering, but Paserno says it still never should have happened. Mitchell witnessed an arrest in the parking lot.
There's a lot of commotion, a lot of noise. She didn't think what was happening was right, so she began to videotape what was going on with her cell phone.
She proceeded to live stream as she entered Walmart. That's when someone in plainclothes, who she says she had no idea was associated with the store, told her to stop. When she didn't, Officer Blaine Newton escorted her to an office.
He then puts her in a non-KCPD approved restraint maneuver with his hand and arm under her arm and shoulder and a twisting motion, and then escorts her.
He probably just learned it and couldn't wait to do it, so he put it on the first person he encountered, which was a female. He's a punk. He's a coward.
Through the store, through the vestibule, and to the loss prevention officer.
The Office of Community Complaints recommended an excessive use of force complaint be sustained. Newton was also one of 3 officers who used a taser and repeatedly punched a teenager in 2019, which resulted in a $325,000 payout from KCPD. This settlement is for $65,000.
I think it's really important anytime a lawsuit is settled with law enforcement. Somebody has to police the police, and apparently it's not KCPD that's going to police.
See, the problem with this is it doesn't come from the police department. If the police department is sued and it come out their budget, this person would be a bigger liability to the police department. But if the same people that's being abused by the cops and murdered by the cops, then we got to pay the family, that's not hurting the police department at all. The money that goes to that person who sued came from not the police budget. It came from the city. It came from the taxpayers. And that has to change. That has to change. That's why I tell people all the time, we have to find out. I don't know if it's public information, but we have to find out who insure these police departments and sue them, put them in litigations, and make the police department a liability to the insurance company, and then we'll see what happens from there. But as long as the money keep coming from the taxpayers, they don't care nothing about that because it's not going to hurt their budget.
And that part doesn't make sense to me, Brother Nasir. It doesn't make sense, right?
Yes, sir.
And not only should it come out of the department or the insurance companies or whatever, it should be now you get deducted your pay. Whatever, if you're making 50,000, 60,000, no, now you should be making 30, 25,000, trying to work your way back up the ranks of your pay raise. Do you know what I'm saying? You should get deducted. Every police officer that does the Fugazi stuff, it should be coming out of what you just said, like the bond, the cops bond that now deduct in pay. You might get suspended, but you still get paid now, but now you ain't making this 50 now. That's what I think that needs to happen.
Police departments are overfunded in the first place. They're overfunded in the first place. And if somebody sued for $10 million, $20 million, and they got to take that out the police budget, and the police budget can't get more toys or whether they spend the money on it, because they have a whole lot of money left. Because if they can afford to buy robots and tanks, tactical gear, AR-15s, which they don't need. If you need an AR-15, you should call the damn National Guard. Am I correct? Call the National Guard if you need that type of artillery. Yeah. If you got to go past the long gun, shotgun that the police are accustomed to use, if you got to use AR-15 style rifles, call the National Guard. But they have so much money that they can afford tanks and robots. And they can afford to grease palms. Their own in particular. But if somebody gets sued for $20 million and that $20 million come out of their budget, it'll change a whole lot. It'll change a whole lot. And then do away with qualified immunity. which is only going there acting like you're ignorant of what you're supposed to be damn doing. And they excuse that, but they tell us ignorance of the law is no excuse when we don't know the law, when they're supposed to be the one who know the damn law.
That's crazy. Let me ask you, Brother Nasir. Now, is it true? Like, because I haven't spoke to anyone that lives in New York. Is it true that they have Robo-Dog running around?
Bro, they got Robo-Dogs and they got J5. They got both of them.
What's J5?
You have you ever seen what's the name of that movie with Damon Williams and Blank Man, when he had the robot? They got robots that go into buildings, and they got robot dogs in New York. Yes, they do. They have acoustic equipment there. They have acoustic equipment parked in New York also that can make you fucking go crazy. Acoustic weapons. They actually have acoustic weapons in New York.
That's the sound thing, right?
It's a sound thing, yes. They have acoustic weapons there parked them. Greetings to Goddess Day of Love. Thanks for tapping in. They have acoustic weapons. They have tanks. They have robot dogs. They have regular robots. Yes, they do. They have all of that in New York.
Yeah, see, I'm not down for any of that. I don't agree. I don't agree with Robo-Dog running around. I mean, is there any type of law or petition we can pass to make sure that each state doesn't have to have Robo-Dog?
I don't know if there's any laws on the books that saying that they can have robots, but it just shows their cowardice, because that's what they used when Michael X. Johnson went in on them in Texas. They was too cowardly to go in, so they sent the robot in with a bomb. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. They don't want to go in. They will fight that robot and send that robot in. That's what they do. If they're too cowardly to go in, they will send the robot in. And that's what the robots are for. In the event that they are too cowardly to go in to when somebody is, doing what they do. That's what they did with Michael X. Johnson.
It seems like if they go with the robots, don't you think the criminals are going to go with robots too?
I don't know. I don't know what the price is of the robots. I don't know if we will be able to buy the robots. But keep in mind, the programmer, just imagine the robot is going to approach us in an encounter based on who programmed it. Just imagine that. So therefore, if that computer programmer, who programs the robot, feels a certain way about us or people in general, they're going to train that robot to be a killer. I mean, it's bad enough when a regular dog bites you. That dog got metal teeth, bro. Just imagine that locking to you, and they give it a certain amount of down pressure when it's biting you. Or you got a killer robot that knows nothing but search and destroy.
Or they put poison on the dog's teeth, so when it bites you, you really you got the virus, you got that thing. Oh no!
Digger said we can buy a Robo-Dog. They have been manufacturing the Robo-Dogs. See, I didn't have that information that we will be able to buy a robot dog. I would love to know, can we program it, or do they have to program it? Can we program the dog? Can we train this Robo-Dog? Can we do that?
Oh, you already know these young brothers. They can, man. They stealing cars with computer stuff. They know it all. Like, I feel like we're going through the Terminator. We're going in the Terminator days. Chuck, this is crazy.
Yeah, absolutely Bananas.
Police their own employees.
Now, that community complaints memo said that that officer was disciplined. However, when I reached out to police today, they said that they can't comment on that discipline. It's not public under Missouri state statute. Bria, those two wrongful death lawsuits are still pending. And according to police, Newton is a patrol officer here with the department.
He's saying he was disciplined, not fired and charged. That's what should have happened. It gets crazy.
See, with dudes like that,
Traffic tickets
like
can
that,
generate serious.
Like with dudes like that, Nasir, right? That's, to me, that's characteristics of, okay, so you're a hitman. You're a hitman for these folks.
And mic check, how my mic sound?
Loud and clear, brother.
Gotcha. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, but you're right, bro. I mean, that's basically what they are. They're hitmen. Don't get paid that much. I mean, you never know. They probably getting their palms greased, but because they have so much money in their budget.
Oh yeah, under the table. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you don't. Once we pay you, don't put this in no account. Keep it in your house.
Oh yeah, that's most cases. I did a story of a cop that said that was going on. They'll give you cash and they tell you to keep it safe, either buried in your backyard or in the wall of your basement. But never. No, they don't want no type of paper trail like digital transfers of cash or nothing. So they have ways of doing it. Because they'll take the cash they'll take it out of evidence. That's just how bold and wicked these people is. They take it out of evidence.
That part.
Serious cash for cities across the country. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. In Georgia, civil rights experts believe state law enables cash-strapped cities to use their officers to generate revenue at the expense of trust in law enforcement. When similar cases unfolded in a neighboring state, Alabama officials took action to stop its departments from boosting budgets with fines from traffic citations.
Investigative reporter Andy Parati takes an in-depth look at what they did to rein in the practice.
Alarming claims in the town of Brookside, allegations of illegal policing and racial profiling.
You want me to explain this to you? Brookside's police chief resigned after allegations of improper and excessive traffic stops and policing.
They were literally being tossed out of their cars on the street, vehicles taken, had to walk to safety.
We're going to deal with this, brother.
That's how they do it. That's how they get revenue, by victimizing the people they encounter and pull over. They get revenue that way. Because these cops, some of these departments don't pay, but they get just say if they get a tow company with a garage to get them kickbacks for bringing cars in there. I've seen it done several times.
We're going to deal with this. What's your name?
I think
What's your name?
they were looking for easy targets.
Alexis Thomas takes us back to the day she and her mother, Shakitha, were arrested by officers in Brookside, Alabama in 2022. Both sent to jail, both their cars towed and impounded, costing them thousands of dollars. Pulled over because her...
You see what I'm saying? Now, if they go pay those thousands of dollars, I'm certain those cops get kickbacks for doing that. Because that has to be the only motive for them doing this, besides being hateful as hell.
Her mother's car had a broken tag light.
What's going through your mind?
Oh my God.
I was terrified.
What is really going on here?
According to a pending class action lawsuit, the city allegedly deployed its police department not to protect the public, but to generate revenue, boosting its budget 640% with fines and forfeitures in 2 years.
There's no way you can say it's not illegal. 640% in revenue, fines and forfeitures in 2 years. That's a lot, bro.
That's a
That's a
super lot.
that's
That's
a
They, you
lot.
know,
stupid.
like you
Like
said, they're targeting the people. Y'all got it.
Exactly.
look,
Exactly. But
I would have to give up my car for sure. You want me to pay $2,000? And you pull me over on Friday, so I can't get my car out Saturday, Sunday. I ain't got the money until Friday, and now that shit done boosted up to $2-3 grand. My car
And T
gone.
Riggles, you gotta remember, then they hit you with the lot fees, towing fees. You know
That
what I
exactly.
mean?
part.
But real quick, talking about New York City, I played high New York City about the even tax. Their people even more driving tax. I don't know if you heard me play it earlier.
Yeah, they
No.
what they're charging they're charging it's called a when you come across the bridge, it's a congestion traffic tax. They're going to charge
Yeah.
New Jersey to come over and just charge us. We're paying $30 each way to go across the George Washington Bridge. First,
Mm-hmm.
they're going to charge you more money because there's traffic there.
Yeah, I played that story earlier on my channel. I said, damn, that's mind blowing. Because they're trying to push people to the subways, but the subways ain't safe. And they know it ain't safe because crime, they
We're gonna
say,
get to that later.
crime is
We're gonna
up.
get later, OJ. We're gonna get to that part later about how unsafe the damn subway is because
Yes, sir.
people are getting set on fire right in front of the cops and they walking past them as they're burning up.
Yes, sir.
That's a crazy story.
Years purchasing this armored vehicle and naming its department's canine Cash.
Let me tell you, they got a few Mercedes Benz in my city. And these Mercedes Benzes have Dare on them. They're Dare vehicles now that they took off somebody. They took them from somebody and made them Dare vehicles in my city. Just want to let you know that.
Something's not right.
Wandalyn Givan is a member of the Alabama House of Representatives, whose district includes Brookside. After receiving thousands of complaints, she helped pass a new state law 2 years ago, capping the amount of traffic citation revenue cities can collect at 10% of their budgets. Ticket revenue generated above that sent to a state-run crime victims compensation fund. The legislation received bipartisan support in a Republican-led legislature.
I had law enforcement agencies literally calling me from across the state of Alabama and throughout the nation to say, listen, we're good cops. We're not bad cops. Those are bad cops.
And Brookside was the catalyst for this legislation.
Absolutely. Brookside exists everywhere. There's a Brookside in every state.
300 miles away, ticketed drivers share similar outrage about a small police department in Lenox, Georgia, that generates even more revenue from traffic citations.
Let me tell you, if you are caught out of state, you are definitely a target. And they want their money now. There's no coming back to court. If you are a few states away, they want their money now. They'll keep your card and they know they'll target you because you're out of state. I've seen it happen. People have come to me with these type of stories that they was in upstate New York from New Jersey and was pulled over and the cops took their car with no infraction, just an accusation. Took their vehicle, not a ticket, impounded their vehicle.
Like they were looking for charges to stack upon us.
It's crazy. I mean, they're pulling people over left and right. It definitely seemed like he was coming after me. I was a cash cow.
We uncovered nearly 73% of Lennox's budget came from traffic fines in 2022. To put that in
Look at that. 72.9% of their budget came from fines and forfeitures.
Wow.
The worst place to drive through is a poor town in a remote area. You'll fall a victim every time. You were saying something, brother?
No, I'm shocked at the number, man. Like this is
I'm not.
You know, I just even though they show Caucasians on the screen, you know, telling them about the fine, I just imagine like this is brothers getting pulled over. Majority, I bet you it's majority.
Yeah, I mean, I can't, I wouldn't deny that, but this is, I mean, brother, 72.9% is almost all their money, bro.
Yeah.
Less than 30% of that money comes from the damn state. That's almost all their money.
Three-quarters.
Crazy.
In perspective, Brookside's fines and forfeitures made up around 49% of its budget before Alabama changed the law. While state law enforcement can revoke speed detection permits if it can prove cities are writing excessive speeding tickets for profit, Georgia does not cap the amount of revenue municipalities can collect from traffic citations.
To put it shortly, Georgia's state laws incentivize municipalities to use their police departments and their code enforcers to police for profit and for taxation by citation.
Jabasitu Ashvili is an attorney with the Institute for Justice. According to this report produced by the civil rights organization, Georgia ranks as the worst state in the country with laws that enable or encourage taxation through citation, largely because municipalities operate their own traffic courts.
So this is wholly counterproductive to the notion of police protecting and serving, and instead turns police into revenue collectors.
Most municipalities operate their own traffic court. If I get pulled over in my city, I go to court in my city. If I get pulled over in another city, I go to court there. So I don't know what that means when they say most municipalities have their own traffic court. That is like basic knowledge.
For themselves and for the town.
We uncovered Lenox is among 17 cities in the state that rely on 25% or more of their budgets from traffic citation revenue, the majority in South Georgia, including Warwick, Morven, and Poland.
The tax base for rural Georgia is declining.
Attorney Tommy Coleman represents some of those South Georgia cities.
Cities and counties in Georgia and other places ought to be able to master of their own destiny. They ought to be able to control their own revenue. And
when you look at the numbers, do you think that this impacts trust in law enforcement?
Well, I'm sure it does for the people who got the ticket.
They are supposed to protect us, serve and protect us.
Back in Brookside, Alabama, a judge dropped all of the charges against Chiquita and her daughter, but the damage was already done.
And that's what it's about, seeing you suffer. And when the damage is already done, they got their desired effect.
Me really
already
not like the police.
You were saying, brother?
The damage is already done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I wanted to say this real quick too. And what they do is they get you in the system. Once they get you in the system, any other citations, then it's possible jail time or prison. Y'all got it.
Yeah, that's one of the things they do also. That's a good observation, OG. They want to get you in the system because perhaps some of these people was never in the system. And once you're in the system, especially little towns like this, they'll come and sit in front of your house, drive past your house, intimidation and the whole nine. We can't put that past them.
I'm just gonna be honest.
I'm nervous all the time.
I was finna say every time I go anywhere, I'm nervous. I don't want. I'm if a police get behind me, I instantly have to report.
A department accused of taking advantage of its authority, impacting trust in law enforcement, something Alabama lawmakers addressed to prevent from happening again. While its neighboring state has yet to take action.
Greetings. Thanks for tapping in. Love. Can you do a mic check?
Mic check, mic check. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Thank you.
Would you like to read the video, or would you like to add on to what we're building on
well,
now?
It's funny because it's not funny, but I was gonna reach out to you and OG Philly because I experienced something last week in Georgia, and they stopped us for a tail light. We were coming out from a discount mall, and they pulled us over. The car that I was in had out of state plates because we were visiting from out of state. So they pulled us over, and the driver said, "Hey, why did you stop me? Your back light is out." So he's like, "Okay." He asked for his license and registration, and he asked if he had a weapon, which we did because you can have one, So he told him, "Yeah, I do have a weapon." So he was like, "Okay," and he was like, "Okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go run your name." And he comes back. He tells the driver to get out the car. And so we're like, "What's going on?" He said that he smelled marijuana from the car. So we're all looking at each other like, okay. So then he takes the driver, puts him in handcuffs. Then a lady police officer comes to the passenger side, which is where my cousin's at. I'm in the back with someone else. They take her out, search her, put her in handcuffs. They go to the passenger side to the person I'm sitting by. They take him out and put him in handcuffs. So they said, we are all being contained right now. That's what they told us. So they were coming to me, and if you know my situation, I have a disability. So I told them that you can't just take me out the car like that. So I guess they thought it was a joke. So they told me try to get out the car, but I can't stand properly. And then the lady was like, "Oh no, you can't mess with her because she has a disability." So they put me back in the car. They put them all in cop cars. They took all our IDs, ran our names. They searched the car while I was in there, searched the trunk, everything. They did all this and was like, "Okay, the person that was in the back of the car with me did have a beer, but the camera is empty, but we didn't have time to dispose of it." So he ended up getting a ticket for having that, and the driver ended up getting a ticket for what was it for? The tail light and marijuana. And so we were like, you had to do all this, and then so the cop's gonna laugh and say, "Well, at least you guys are not gonna be in jail for Christmas. Be happy." That's exactly what I was like, "What?" Like all this just for, you know what I'm saying? And I could tell that the guy was in training because I was actually got to stay in the car, and he was like, "What do I write this up for?" And she's like, "Oh, you could do this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, I was like, "He's in training." I was like, "He's in training. He don't even know." I said, "This should be training of how to let people go." I'm at this point. I'm like, because I know you really can't do much to me because first of all, I know I'm code 4 because I told them that anyway. But then because I have a disability, I know there's much. If you treat me any type of way, you really gonna be in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this should be a routine stop since he's in training. "Oh no, but everything's gonna be okay. Be glad you're not gonna be in jail for Christmas and blah blah blah." Like it was like a whole joke. We were in that. Go ahead.
Malfunction tail light being out is not a it doesn't give them probable cause to search the car.
He said because he smelled marijuana. Because
they always use that. They always use that as a probable cause to search your car because they smelled marijuana. They always use that. They have used that and the smell of alcohol on people that don't even smoke or drink. They use that. And they make themselves look stupid because people are like, "I don't smoke or drink. How you smell alcohol or marijuana when I don't smoke?" They have used that so many times on people that don't smoke or drink. That's what I was trying to get at, because a malfunction tail light is not probable cause to pull people out the car. A ticket.
Right.
And also, the smell of marijuana is not probable cause to pull you over. Because if tickets was a result of what y'all stopped, that's all was supposed to happen. Tickets. Not pulling you out the car and searching your car.
Yeah.
So you know, I don't know if y'all want to pursue some type of you know, lawsuit or something, but what you should do for your request, if they have body cameras on, is for your request that body cam footage, and then take it to a lawyer. So that's my advice. For your request, Freedom of Information Act. That's what FOIA is, Freedom of Information Act. That body camera footage, and take it to a lawyer.
And when I tell you it was, let me tell y'all about a total of 6 police cars. I'm telling you, it was ridiculous. I was like, what are y'all guys doing? Like, it's not even that serious. Like, and you could tell like they're sort of laughing and just ha ha ha. And I'm like, this is traumatizing. My cousin,
I mean, and that's another part of it too, sister.
And y'all,
that's another part of it too. The conversation that you experience is also another part of that situation that you could talk to your lawyer about, because they targeted you because you was out of state. That's the main reason why they pulled you over. That's the main reason why they looked at you in the first place, was because if they followed you and got behind you and then noticed that you had a tail light out afterwards, after the fact, they profiled you. Straight up.
Well, yeah, so I'm happy that you did, because I was gonna reach out to OG and you, and because I was like, man, I got some people I know I can, because I was like, this is ridiculous. I felt, even because I do have a disability, you know, like I said, they knew the lady had to stop them, like, don't touch her, because I was like, boy, if y'all touch me, I'm really gonna get y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, because I was like, and then my cousin was like, I'm traumatized because this is my own people doing this, and they just sort of laughed about it, like, ha ha ha, like it's nothing. And I'm gonna tell you, they had 2 cop cars from what I could see. Then they had 2 trucks came up. Then they had another dude drive by, and they laughing and talking. We were contained for almost, I recorded it. For them to even give us our IDs back, it took about 30 minutes for him to even, and I'm like, I don't have nothing on me. I'm code 4.
They actually kept you, they kept you past the time limit of a Terry stop. They kept you past a half hour. Is too long for a Terry stop. It don't take that long to run names.
That's what I said.
They don't.
Yeah, so
they kept you past the time.
Yeah, I definitely thank you for the advice, and it's just crazy out here. So I just wanted to share that it's real, and I know it's because we were in a car that had plates, you know, out of state plates. We had visitors, and we seen them pull somebody else over on the other side of the street. You see what I'm saying? So they actually made a full U-turn to get us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so you drove past them.
Yes.
And they did a U-turn?
He did a U-turn, yes. He did.
And came back. Now that's profiling, because how would they see your tail light on that side?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
They seen you was out of state. They seen your front license plate, and then if you have one, because some people don't require it, and depending on what state it is, but if you drove past them and they did a turn and got behind you, your tail light is after the fact. It's after the fact. So take all of that to a lawyer.
Okay.
I appreciate you coming up and you know, and telling us that, but you know, because this is what I like to do. I like to advocate, stand and advocate for my people in any way that I can. But they profiled you, sis. And for your request, that body cam footage.
Okay.
And all those who were involved in that stop, contact them and do that together.
Okay. I will.
Do it together. That's all I can. That's the advice I can give. Just do that together and be steadfast. Don't back down from these people, because they'll try to drag it out. They'll try to drag it out, so you'll get frustrated and just give up. Nah, don't do that. But they targeted you.
All right. Thank you so much. Peace and and love to you, T Riggles and OG Philly. Peace and love to you guys. I'm gonna drop down. I just wanted to. It was perfect timing, so I figured this was the time. Have a good show. I appreciate what you guys are doing.
Yes, peace and love, sister. You know, and I'm in Georgia, and I don't even smoke in my car. You know what I mean? Because they try to, no, you don't. I don't smoke. You know what I mean? And you know, I love to smoke. I do it. I wait till I get to the crib. You know what I mean? But yeah, I meant to say earlier, I didn't got hit with so many speeding citations where I make sure I'm doing the speed limit now. You know what I mean? Because if you ain't, they out there like dogs waiting for you. You go 55, 45, 56, they waiting for you. 58, they waiting for you. You know what I mean? So I just drive the speed limit because I know they out there looking. And you know, that's where I had that, you know, like I said, they hit me with like 5 different citations in 1 year where I had to go to court. I was refusing to go to court. And I ended up, you know, finally taking my butt to court. And that's where I made that stand. Hey, I'm gonna pay y'all, but I ain't coming up here doing through all the rituals of putting my right hand and no, I don't believe in it, y'all. That Bible, I ain't putting my hand on that Bible. Y'all can't make me put my hand on that Bible. I'm here to do business. Do y'all want to do business? And they agreed because all they wanted was money. But y'all got it.
All right. Well, I'm gonna jump down. Thanks a lot, and I'll
Yeah,
keep you guys
appreciate you,
informed.
sis. Much
Okay.
love.
All right.
Before you go, sis, if you don't
Mhm.
have a dash cam, get one.
Okay.
They don't even cost that much. Go into Walmart, you can get a good dash cam for like $40.
Okay.
Get yourself a dash cam. That's accountability. When they pull over, you point that thing right at them and let them run their mouth and incriminate themselves. And then you would have caught them going past you and then turn it around. So get yourself a dash cam. I have a dash cam. You pull me over, you're gonna have to account for everything you do and say.
Yeah, that's a great
Pull
idea.
me over.
Great, especially as a woman. So I'm gonna definitely.
Especially.
Yeah. Well, thank you so
Especially.
much.
But
I'm
thanks
gonna
for
drop
coming up.
down. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Have a good one, sis.
We reached out to
Yeah,
attorneys
she just.
representing the city of Brookside, but did not hear back. At least one.
I'm listening, brother. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, she just gave me a really good idea. You know, and I don't want to say it, but yeah, and this could involve intern brother lawyers that, you know, you're trying to make your way into the game, having interns go through these cases where people be like, okay, you feel like injustice is happening, call this number, 1-800 Riggles Law Firm, and we have interns here that will help, that know the law, and so if you're violated, they'll step in. Like, that's if we're gonna play this game, we're gonna play this game with you. You feel what I'm
But you know
saying?
what,
Like,
though, my brother? But you know what? To speak to you know, what happened, what you're saying is a good idea. We need like a firm that deals with that thing particularly. You know, I just wanted to, you know, I'm just agreeing with you, brother. We need somebody to deal with that particularly, brother.
Yeah.
And to speak to what the sister was telling us and how she described it, the female officer who was telling him what to do is that's the FTO. That was the field training officer, and she was teaching that trainee officer the police culture on what is police culture, and police culture is not necessarily inconsistent with departmental policy. Put it that way. Because I know damn well the departmental policy is not to pull over random cars that you see drive past you unless they're speeding. To do a U-turn and come around and come around and see, say, look, how did you see the tail light being malfunctioned if we drove past each other in front of our car was facing each other? You couldn't have seen that. They profiled the sister and her family. Period. Cut and dry.
Period.
And that female officer was training him to do exactly what he's going to be doing later on when he's not from among her. When he get his own car, that's what he's going to be. You were saying something, brother?
No, I just said period, brother. They
Exactly.
profiled her, period.
Exactly.
One Georgia lawmaker tells me he wants to find a legislative solution in response to our investigation. In Atlanta, I'm Andy Parati.
A closer look at that report from the Institute for Justice shows West Virginia, Rhode Island, South Carolina, and Montana all follow Georgia as the worst states in the country with laws that enable or encourage taxation through citation.
Another way Georgia cities are generating money, school zone speed detection cameras. They issue more than 1,200 tickets a day in the state. And while law enforcement officials say the cameras are designed to protect children and save lives, we've uncovered money may be the real motive.
We can see year by year the amount of money that we're generating. So that tells me that it doesn't work.
Is this taxation through citation?
Absolutely.
That's the mayor of South Fulton, where drivers have paid $14 million in camera fines, more than any other city in the state of Georgia. The mayor says,
Did you see that number? In camera fines, they paid over $14 million in camera fines. That's brother.
They said Fulton County, right?
Yeah.
Right outside of Atlanta. That's why I don't live around that way. But good, y'all got it. That's outside
That is-
Atlanta. Atlanta and its outskirts.
That's literally highway robbery. Literally.
Exactly.
That's exactly what that is. 14 million? 14 million?
I don't understand how the federal government is not, investigating this municipality, bro. This whole entire county should be investigated for what they're doing.
says he plans to use some of the camera citation revenue to install speed bumps, which he believes work better.
The difference between speed bumps and traffic cameras is that one costs money and one makes money.
But are the cameras making Georgia roads safer? According to NHTSA, pedestrian fatalities in Georgia have steadily increased since 2018 when the cameras were installed, although it's not broken down by community or school zone. The number of school-age child deaths is nearly unchanged year to year. The vast majority are at night when school is not in session.
Now we're going to go to another, like I told you, brother, we're going to be all over the place.
Black woman spending hundreds shopping at Lululemon gets racially profiled. Here's the video.
This is in New York. A sister spent hundreds of dollars in Lululemon, and she's profiled, and she did what I would have done. Like when you had the greeters and stuff standing at the door at Walmart, wanting to check your receipt. Most of them just see you come from they're just watching you come from the register, and they want to check your receipt. And sometimes there's a line. You spent hundreds of dollars, and there's a line waiting for you to get out to check a damn receipt after you spent your money in this place. I don't have the patience for that.
See what I stole, please. Bro. Go to the register. Oh my God. Can you give me your information? Why? Are you willing to give me your information? Why? I didn't steal anything. Can you ask them? Because I didn't steal anything. I literally just came.
I can't talk to you.
Calm down,
Are you ready for me to talk?
No.
Okay. So, do you want me to tell you?
These demons love to set you, to trigger you, and then ask you why you're so upset. And say, you're frustrating a person and you're stopping a person. You're impeding their movement and stopping them from, enjoying their day. And do you expect them to do that calm?
Why you been stopped?
Yes, why?
Okay, I'm trying to tell you that, but you're not.
Calm down. Tell me.
Okay, they believed you took something.
What did I take?
I don't know, because we weren't the ones
So
that
can you ask them to record or do something?
We stopped you based on that, all right?
Okay.
We looked, you let us look for your stuff. You said no, nothing was found. You're good to go. Would you like, can we get your information?
No.
They do not need her information because of that. They don't need her information because of that. These people are so ID hungry. They don't need her information. As a matter of fact, you violated the woman's rights, and then you want to get her ID on top of that. And I would do exactly what this sister did. Put all that shit back and get her money.
That she did?
What?
Yes.
Can I have your information?
She said, I don't want this now. I don't want this now. I'm putting everything back. Get my money back. I would have did the same thing. She spent $600 in this place.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have bought it back.
Thank you. I don't want this stuff no more. Who's the manager of this store? I don't want it. I don't.
Exactly.
Put it up. Full mask. Now, the situation is a common one. A Black woman shopping at Lululemon on New York City's Fifth Avenue allegedly was racially profiled even after spending $600 at the store. Social media was quick to come to the woman's defense. One user provided a bit more context into Lululemon's background. Here it is.
I just saw the video of the Black woman who bought $600 worth of stuff from Lululemon, only for them to call the cops and accuse her of stealing. And so she was fed up and she's like, I want to return all of it. And all of this happened at the Fifth Avenue location in New York. I just want to remind you guys, right? The target audience for Lululemon are petite white women exclusively. That's who they want. That's all they want. Like, my Asian girlies love Lululemon, but guess what? They named it that because they thought it'd be so funny that Asian people can't pronounce it and that we'll say Lululemon instead. Literally, that is the origin of their name. How many times does a brand need to like come out and show us they don't care about anyone other than white women for us to be like, you know what? Maybe let's not give them our money.
Lululemon was founded by a guy named Chip Wilson, and let's talk about how Chip feels about diversity. Wilson founded the Lululemon brand in 1998, stepped down as CEO in 2013, but still owns the majority of the company's shares, which are valued at about $4 billion, according to Forbes. During an interview with Forbes, published January 2nd, he blasted the company's, quote, whole diversity and inclusion thing, end quote. He also sounded off on Lululemon's ads because they feature people he called, quote, unhealthy, sickly, and not inspirational. Quote, they're trying to become like the Gap. Everything to everybody, Wilson said. Quote, and I think the definition of a brand is that you're not everything to everybody. You've got to be clear that you don't want certain customers coming in, end quote. And why is Chip saying this stuff? He's the majority owner. But his majority owner stake does not allow him to provide day-to-day management anymore. So this stuff really is getting to him. All right, Sharon, you've had some stories. You've done stories about Lululemon. It's quite clear the DNA of the company is founded in a particular bias.
It certainly is, and it doesn't fit my butt. And I mean my butt, okay? And that's by design. The woman who spoke out, I commend her. She's right. How much more do you need to know? They don't want us. That doesn't excuse the behavior. And can I get your information? The slave papers thing again. Okay. Yeah. No, you may not. I did not commit a crime. So buzz off. I wouldn't go in there. Matter of fact, I'm not doing it anymore. Okay. And I only did it on behalf of one little 13-year-old, but I can educate her.
Yeah, very good. Obviously, they want this smoke, so we'll bring it.
Now we're going to go to a child protective agent who was charged with abuse.
Steve Andrews is giving a voice to the voice.
Submitting phony report on abuse cases. Now, these people, they come to the house and they're overzealous, and without children in their system, they have no system. So this is what they do.
Voiceless and taking the powerful to task. Now, 8 on Your Side investigates.
Her job, investigate whether children were abused. Her employer, the...
That's a mean-looking Caucasian woman. She look mean as hell, boy. She got a strong-ass linebacker face. And you're a coach, T. Riggles. You know what a linebacker face look like.
Oh yeah, that's Urlacher.
Real, she got a linebacker face.
Investigate whether children were abused. Her employer, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, put her in cuffs for falsifying an investigation. Pasco County Sheriff's Office investigators look into about 6,500 cases of possible child abuse every year.
And now they're zeroing in on 95 cases handled by one of their own, CPI Kaylin Scott. Why? Because as 8 on Your Side senior investigative reporter Steve Andrews tells us, she admitted she falsified reports about an abuse case.
Yeah, and that brings into question every case that she investigated and every document she submitted since she started working at the Pasco County Sheriff's Office. 24-year-old Kaylin Scott may not realize it, but one attorney says when she falsified a report about interviewing and drug testing a family involved in a child abuse case, Scott created a dark shadow that will loom over the child protective system.
If I were a judge, I'd have to sit back and wonder, can I trust the information I'm being given?
Michelle D'Angelo has represented both sides in child dependency cases. Scott, she claims, betrayed a trust.
I think this is probably one of the most egregious abuses you could have.
Pasco County Sheriff Major Jeff Peak.
So this came to light when one of our CPIs went out and investigated a CPI investigation involving the same family that she had.
The later investigation sparked when a newborn baby tested positive for an opiate-related drug.
If the child was born with this and you were pregnant when this other investigation was going on, how come this didn't come up then when you were drug tested?
Detectives investigated, confronted Scott. She fessed up. They arrested her. According to Major Peak, the sheriff's office is looking through all 95 cases.
If they don't have children in their system, they don't have a system. So they're going to do paperwork to suggest that a child's being abused when the child's not even being abused, just to get somebody's child in the system and cause all types of trauma to that family.
Cases Scott handled in the little less than a year she worked as a CPI.
Anybody want me to stop the video, just say so, and I'll stop.
Yeah, brother. Said, look. This CPS system that we got going on here. Hey, this is another organization that is so faulty. When I say faulty, they're probably a lot of the reasons for this trafficking going on. And what's sad is they know this. I know the feds know this. Because it's no mystery here. It's happening all across the nation here, where CPS is grabbing children. You feel me? And then relocating them. And then once they relocate and take that away from their family, like, come on, man. Like it's like written all over their face type of deal. Sorry, I get kind of passionate when, the children, man. The children, yo.
And then some of these children, you know, are used for the unthinkable, brother. When they, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
Going through each case, systematically looking at anything that would identify a pattern.
Michelle D'Angelo believes when a CPI lies, it puts children in jeopardy.
We're not protecting kids anymore. We're leaving kids potentially at risk because they're still in this home because she's lied and said she visited, everything was fine.
Now, according to the sheriff's office, investigators found 3 more cases in which Scott claims she interviewed people that she didn't talk to. Detectives forwarded those cases to the Pasco County State Attorney's Office. Prosecutors will decide whether or not she faces more charges. She's
just lazy. She's not even going to even get potential cases. She's not even checking on, you know, potential abused children. Or she just totally getting paid with, I mean, she just lazy. Wasn't even doing her job at all.
Looking at 1 third-degree felony.
What's interesting, when people cheat a system, they're doing it for a reason. She fessed up to this. And
people cheating the system is most case scenarios. They do it on every level, from the city council all the way up to the damn president of the United States. So they need to stop that bull crap. You were saying something, brother? Well, I'll continue.
So what I don't understand is why would she do it in the first place?
That's a question I asked if, you know, she explained why she did it. And according to Major Peak, she gave no real reason. This case, though, gave the sheriff's office pause. It plans to broaden its quality assurance. Major Peak told us supervisors will now call family members involved in child abuse investigations to make sure that CPIs interviewed who they said they did. There are 4.
Gonna move on to another. Same scenario, same case, same thing, but
so as we got information that we had to arrest a child protective investigator who worked for the Pasco Sheriff's Office, and so I'm going to make sure you get that information. The one thing is, you know, when you talk about having to fire and arrest a member of your organization, which we had to do, you know, it is disappointing and sad. But the other side of it is you say, did we do the right things? And we actually did the right things. And it's because we were doing the right things that led us to find this information out, that led us to the arrests and now to subsequent termination of this individual. So the individual we're talking about, her name is Julianne Nicolero. She was here for 2 years. And what had happened was, because of previous incidents, we had upgraded our quality control. By upgrading our quality control, we go back and we randomly review cases. Our supervisors did a very good job. As they were randomly pulling cases, they were going through, reviewing them. They realized in this former member's cases, so far there was 11 falsification of documents, which she's being charged for. So what she was doing was, deputies were going out on child protective investigation calls. The deputies were taking those reports. They were writing their own reports. She was then going in, reading the reports of the deputies and using their language as her own. So she was basically copying their information and putting it to her own words. She had also in some places falsified that people took drug tests and did.
Well, she's a plagiarist too. So on top of all that, she's plagiarizing reports and falsifying reports. It's outright lazy.
Other things that were needed and required of them as being investigated by Child Protective Investigation. Just to make sure that you're aware, we went back into all these cases. We reviewed over 200 of her cases so far, making sure that nothing else slipped through the cracks. Going back to ensure that all those children are safe, all those people that are being investigated were properly investigated, and all those that had to take the drug test were taking the drug test. So again, I go back to the fact that it's disappointing that you have to arrest and terminate a member. At the same time, I want to thank our supervisors and members within that organization, within that unit, for doing the right thing. Because they're doing quality control, we were able to check all this. And go back to the fact that when you talk about child protective investigation, that is not an easy position. They are handling a lot of cases. There's a heavy workload, and it's not just in Pasco County, it's anybody who's child protective investigation. So, you know, to those that are out there doing a good job every day, day in and day out, thank you. Your work and dedication is not forgotten. And the work that you do and how critical and why we do these quality controls is because we're talking about children. And we have to make sure those kids are safe. because they didn't choose to be born into some of those families. That's just the roll of the dice. And if they're in bad situations, we got to protect them and make sure they're okay. With that, any questions?
What was her story?
Why? Don't know it yet. We'll go back, find out. Not sure yet. I didn't talk to the detective as to why she decided to do this, but either way, if she either says, it was her workload or she's lazy, it doesn't matter, because she's going to have to put her head down in bed at night. And if she possibly could have put kids at risk for her actions, thank God she didn't, and we went back and checked on it. But that's why she's being arrested and charged, is because, not only she committed a crime and she's being terminated because of those actions, but also those actions, how do you do that? You have to go out and do a thorough job. You have to go out there and protect. That's what you signed up for. And signing up, it's not easy, but you have to do it. And if you don't want to do it, there's nothing wrong with saying, this isn't for me. I'm just going to do something else in my life. All right. Hopefully this really is the end. That's it for today.
I say
now
this.
We're going to go to. Let me click on this real quick, brother. Then you can go real quick. Want to make sure I got the next one queued. Okay, go right ahead, brother.
Yeah, this is this topic is more serious than the sheriff is telling everyone. Santana had a stream about this, and for anyone that's going through any CPS or these child services things, and it's injustice all the way. Santana brought to the forum a lawyer that anyone should call it. His name is David Jose. Phenomenal brother. I mean, when I say phenomenal, and the stream, he was on it, and when I say he knows this system to a T, yo, so anyone that, if you're having the CPS problems, David Jose, and we need to thank Santana and his wife for bringing that to the forefront.
Okay. Thanks to them for bringing all that to the forefront. Now we're going to go to New York City, back to New York, where a New York City Police Department chief resigns amid misconduct allegations.
Subordinate is accusing him of demanding sexual favors in exchange for large amounts of overtime. An interim replacement has already taken Madry's place. Fox 5's Richard Jacobus is live right now at police headquarters in Lower Manhattan with this breaking story. Richard, what's going on there?
Arthur, he was New York City's top uniformed officer for 2 years, the chief of the largest police department in the country. But tonight, Jeffrey Madry has resigned from that position after sexual misconduct allegations were made against him by, like you said, a fellow subordinate who claimed she and Madry exchanged overtime for sexual favors. The disturbing allegations were made by a woman who holds an administrative position in Madry's office. She has filed a complaint against the city, claiming that Madry engaged in, quote, quid pro quo sexual harassment by coercing her to perform unwanted sexual favors in exchange for overtime opportunities in the workplace. The 51-year-old told the New York Post Madry would force her into the back room of his office, where they had sex nearly a dozen times. Madry joined the police force in 1991 at the age of 20 and rose through the ranks to become chief of housing in 2021, then chief of patrol later that year, before being promoted to chief of department in December of 2022. Mayor Eric Adams reacting this afternoon to these allegations.
Been speaking with the NYPD team. The allegations are extremely concerning and alarming.
I'm looking at this picture. I want everybody to look at this picture. I just noticed this. I don't know. Is it me, or does it look like the girl that was on the Indisputed Damn video talking about Lululemon? I don't know. Yeah. The Asian girl that just gave the commentary on that video. Is it me, or do she look like her?
I don't think she had long hair.
She had long hair. She was playing with it. It was a different color, though.
Yeah, it was a different color.
Yeah.
But these actors out here, real good actors.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They do what they call them, crisis actors.
Yeah.
Provocateurs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the chief, he was the chief.
He was the chief of uniforms. Yes.
The chief was getting behind from a woman, right? It was just a woman.
Yeah, it was a subordinate, female subordinate that he was just changing overtime opportunities. That's what the accusations are. Overtime opportunities for what they was doing. And she said it was forceful, and I can't say it wasn't forceful. I can't say that because these cats act like that. That's how they behave, bro. Can't say it wasn't.
I mean, how many times? I can't say it's not forceful either. But
you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta believe her. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah, no. I'm going by her statements too. You feel me? But I don't know. I've something forced. Like this is rape now. Sorry, grape.
Yeah, they got a SVU team out there. They'll get to the bottom of this will be revisited because they got an SVU team out there. I don't know if it's Ice-T in them, but they got a real team out there.
I should laugh. I should laugh.
They got a real team out there, but that's going to get to the bottom of this because let me tell you, some of the female officers on every level, whether it's the police department or the military, they are abused by their overranked officers, whether the petty officer or whatever officer in the military and even on police departments, they're abused by them. It happens, and they should go down for it. Now he's going to end up on the other side of the law if they do their job. You know what I'm saying? He should end up where he sent people for doing this. Not just resigning, just putting a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like, putting a Band-Aid on it, because I wonder what the gift of gab he used to lure the women. What did they say? Like, all right, look, I'm gonna get you fired if you don't give me this booty. Is that
what she said? He was giving her overtime opportunities in exchange, and that's still like, that's still wrong. No matter how you look at it, it's still wrong.
Yeah, it's still wrong. Yeah, I agree. It's wrong, but you can say no.
Yeah, I mean that's the truth. That's the truth. On the other side, yes, you could say no. But you know how these police departments are. You get ostracized and then you get ridiculed. I'm telling you, these guys in law enforcement, I don't know how some of them become that, and it's the culture. It's the culture. Just like what the video we seen a few videos ago. You see how she was training that officer to pull people over for nothing, and, out of state, bro. It's the culture, which is not your public. Yes, my brother.
Let me say this real quick. My bad. We didn't see where these police is working with the judges. So even if the people confront and bring it to the courts go side with the cops, and the judges go side with the cops because they all going to lunch and working with each other. So that's how many cases we done got, thrown away because of the police force. You know what I mean? They working with the judges. We done seen videos where the judge said, "Hey, whatever the cops say, it goes." But that's all I want to say, my brother. My bad.
And that's most case scenario.
No, you're right.
Yes, sir.
You're right. and then they probably can use the threat of, if you don't do as I say, you know, I'll have this tactical team, you know, take care of business. Ooh, this is a cold game, bro.
You know, ostracizing somebody, ridicule them, and you know, something happened, you call for backup, they don't show up. They do stuff like that, bro. They line you up. They will actually line you up. I've seen it. Like I believe it was Baltimore. It was a cop set to testify against his department for some corruption, and the night before, he got lined up and taken out. They will know something is about to happen, or you get or something happened that you respond to, or you need backup. They won't show up. They do these things, especially to women. They do these things to women, and they do these things to police officers who don't indulge in that culture. They do these things to them.
Review of all personnel, but she's also doing a full review of this issue, and it just would be inappropriate for me to go into the details of these allegations, but it's currently under review.
In a statement to the New York Post, Madry's attorney said this is completely meritless and we denied every aspect of this. Meanwhile, NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch says her department takes all allegations of sexual misconduct seriously and will thoroughly investigate this matter. Fox 5 has also reached out to Madry's attorney for a full statement, but we have not heard back. Chief of Patrol John Chell moves now into the position of interim chief of department, at least for now. We're live at police headquarters, Lower Manhattan. Richard Giacobas, Fox 5 News. Sorry.
Now, 2 NYPD upper rank cops, they were removed.
New details and shakeups and alleged scandal amid top brass at the NYPD.
Two chiefs, and both of these chiefs, you know, look like us. 2 NYPD chiefs removed amid shakeups and scandals. One a female, one a male, and one is accused of misconduct. Both is misconduct. One is sexual, and one is theft by deception.
2 department chiefs out. NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch removed the head of the NYPD's Internal Affairs Bureau. The reason still not clear tonight, but that does come after Chief of Department Jeffrey Madry handed in his resignation as sexual misconduct allegations were made, allegations he denies. News 4's Jessica Cunnington reporting at One Police Plaza with more on the changes.
You must continue to lead with integrity and with honor in all of your work.
NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch speaking at a promotion ceremony to members rising up through the department at a time of turmoil. The NYPD rocked by a sex scandal over the weekend, which she did not directly address. She did make clear her expectations of everyone.
You are all part of a new era of professionalism, of respect, and of dedication that will define the NYPD under my tenure. We are consciously and decisively turning the page.
Not seated on stage among NYPD leadership, Jeffrey Madry, the former chief of department who abruptly resigned Friday night amid bombshell allegations he demanded sex in exchange for overtime pay. Lieutenant Quithesha Epps and her attorney filing a formal complaint against Madry and the NYPD, alleging a pattern of quid pro quo sexual harassment, abuse of power that went unchecked, and retaliation aimed at silencing her.
Allegations are extremely concerning and alarming.
Mayor Adams had no public appearances Monday, but addressed the allegations Saturday. The NYPD and Manhattan DA both investigating, and a source familiar with the matter says federal investigators are also looking into all of this, which has sparked a domino effect.
You know, Adams is a former New York City police captain, so he's probably going to side with the chief because he appointed the chief.
of changes in NYPD leadership. A spokesperson for the mayor telling us he is working in close coordination with the police commissioner as the NYPD conducts a separate department-wide review to ensure no high-ranking officers are using their power inappropriately. Today, Edward Thompson, the new interim chief of internal affairs, was sworn in after the former chief, Miguel Iglesias, was ousted Saturday night. Chief of Patrol John Schell, sitting next to the commissioner today, is now interim.
See what they did, right? They ousted the other Negro. They said, we don't want no niggas running this apartment no more. No niggas, no more niggas. We're going to put somebody white as in charge now.
Chief of department,
Hey,
Commissioner
that's what-
Tisch, closing out.
Crazy.
No more niggas.
No more ninjas running around here. No. Let's get a. No, this sounds real weird though. But you know, it's allegations, so we don't know if that's true or not. Correct?
Correct. But if I didn't do anything, you think I'm resigning? If I didn't do anything, I'm not resigning. If I didn't do anything, I'm fighting to the very end.
That part.
If I didn't do anything. Now, resigning to me sounds like, you know, trying to dodge a bullet, bro. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm not going to say who did what, but I'm just going to tell you how it sounds to me. You know?
Yeah, and how was the other brother? He was involved, or he's got a separate case?
I don't know what happened with him. I mean, you know, I would have to revisit this, but they ousted him. He didn't resign. They got rid of him, told him to kick rocks. So we'll find out. I'll go and do my due diligence. And
Isn't Eric Adams under some stuff too? Did he do something?
Yes, he is. He's under.
This is crazy.
Fire too. I mean, brother, corrupt to the core. All of them
to the core.
No matter what level. I told you, brother, the enemy's public. Anybody who supposed to be public servants to the people are really our enemy. The enemy's public.
Out her statements this morning with a telling promise.
I will do everything in my power to keep our members safe, to get them the tools they need to do their most important work.
Keep our members safe. You won't do anything it takes to keep the people that they say they serve and protect safe. You're talking about tools and keeping them safe. We already know where this department's headed. I mean, I don't mean to sound, you know, chauvinistic or sexist, but this is backwards to me. I mean, nah. Because every time you get a woman running the department, anytime you get a woman running the department, bro, it goes to shit. Straight up.
Yeah, you can look at the brother in the back. Look at the brother in the back looking like, man, I ain't believing nothing this woman talking about.
I don't care if it's a sister or if it's a Caucasian woman. They're not that type of administrator. I'm just going to say that. They can't administrate it on this level as on the police department. Not sorry to say it.
And to restore honor and distinction to this department.
Madry's attorney telling News 4 that his client denies allegations of any sexual interaction and he was not involved in approving Epps' overtime. In Lower Manhattan, I'm Jessica Cunnington, News 4 New York.
Now we're going to go to NYP's top earner and why she's the top earner.
Oh, okay.
We're going to go to that. Why she's the top earner.
If she's anything like Kamala Harris.
She's under investigation. Investigation for massive overtime pay. And to dodge the bullet, she retires early.
The NYPD's highest paid employee under investigation for massive amounts of overtime pay that contributed to a more than $400,000 salary is now retiring early. Lieutenant Quantisha Epps claimed to work more than 1,600 hours of overtime.
Can you imagine this, bro? I'm gonna say something to you that that's gonna blow your mind, brother. This is the same woman that accused the chief for the sexual harassment. This the lieutenant.
Stop.
Yes, he gave her the overtime, and now they charging her for it.
Oh, what is going on? This is like the housewives drama thing going on. Atlanta housewives. What's going on?
This is the same lieutenant who the chief was giving her all the overtime for the sexual favors, and when he get busted, and when this is the results of that, bro. They do the dirt with you to get the dirt on you. I keep telling our people that they know you was doing it because they was doing the dirt with you. So now she's retiring early because she's under investigation for massive overtime pay that was okayed by the chief, was given to her by the chief.
And how much was it?
Staggering total uncovered last month by the New York Post.
Over, a police chief don't make probably about a police chief, they probably make a good $100-something thousand to $200,000, but she made like $400,000, over $400,000. That's a police officer. So
it's a lot of overtime. It's a lot of overtime. It's a lot of overtime.
It allowed Epps to pull in more than $204,000 in overtime pay, on top of her base salary of around $164,000, plus fringe benefits, which put her past the $400,000 mark in 2024. According to payroll records, her boss made around $292,000. Sources told the Post that Epps' overtime pay was capped.
She made more than the chief did. Therefore, she was a top earner. But she was top earner because of the chief.
Of the chief. I wonder who snitched.
After the report came out.
I mean, when she went to them about the overtime pay for exchange for the sexual favors, that sparked the investigation of, well, how much overtime did he offer you? And there you go.
Damn.
There you go.
NYPD officials telling her at the time she'd be put back on patrol instead of just working her current desk job. Now, the Post has learned Epps filed for retirement this week when she was just shy of 20 years with the department. The early exit will impact her pension and cost her a $12,000 a year add-on for officers who reach the 2-decade mark. The department has now officially launched an internal affairs probe into Epps, which includes looking into allegations of falsified overtime hours, signing off on time slips herself, as well as complaints of her coming into work late, leaving early, or not showing up at all. Despite the investigation, Epps seemingly had a positive history with the NYPD. In 2019, the department congratulated Epps for beating cancer 3 times, posting on social media for World Cancer Day. The year before that, in another post to social media, Epps' precinct welcomed her back to full duty following cancer treatment. The department also featured her in a 2017 video titled Women Inspiring Women in the NYPD.
I've had 2 bouts with ovarian cancer and my latest challenge with brain cancer. I'm going to be a 3-time cancer survivor. I don't have to remind myself of this. This blue family of mine doesn't even allow me the space to remind myself because they keep me showered in love.
Following her recent retirement announcement, Epps' last day was scheduled for January 14th, but the NYPD has now suspended her without pay amid the investigation. The department has 30 days to investigate before her pension goes into effect. Epps has not commented on the investigation. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Jack Almer. Get all your...
Absolutely crazy. Now we're going to go to the NYPD officer who walked past who was set ablaze. It gets crazier.
Police have charged a man they say set a woman on fire on a New York City train and watched her burn to death Sunday.
Now, this guy was arrested and deported. He was able to come back to the United States and do this to that woman. Shows you how much they pay attention. But, you know, this is who they're allowing to come over here. He probably came back here with the ones they allowed to come here.
Sunday morning. Sebastian Zepeda, a 33-year-old Guatemalan citizen, was arrested.
You were saying something, brother?
Like, how does the NYPD officer just walk by her? Like, you don't even want to try to like blow the flame out or take off your police jacket and, you know, fan her or cover something, yo. Like, you just, it's crazy, yo.
On a subway train that same afternoon. Police say he had a lighter in his pocket and that his clothing matched that of the suspect. New York City Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch gave more details at a Sunday press conference after the arrest.
As the train pulled into the station, the suspect calmly walked up to the victim, who was in a seated position at the end of a subway car. The suspect used what we believe to be a lighter to ignite the victim's clothing, which became fully engulfed in a matter of seconds. Officers who were on patrol on an upper level of that station smelled and saw smoke and went to investigate. What they saw was a person standing inside the train car.
So officers had to respond when there was officers there walking right past the woman when she was set ablaze. I mean, this don't make sense. She's getting off on the wrong foot as the newly appointed damn commissioner. She needs to get her story straight, because why will officers be dispatched when there was officers right there? An officer walked right past the woman being, you know, burnt up. Makes no sense.
Makes none.
Fully.
You wanted to build on this, brother?
It makes no sense whatsoever. And see stuff like this. Look, what I looked up, like, what's the population of New York? It's like 8.3 million people. It's a lot of people in that little space, man. And to have people insensitive here, this is just wild, Joe. I got no words for this. I got none.
It's wild, brother. Absolutely wild.
Engulfed in flames. With the help of an MTA employee and a fire extinguisher, the flames were put out. Unfortunately, it was too late, and the victim was pronounced on the scene.
On Monday, Zepeda was charged with murder and arson. Police do not believe that he and the victim, who has not been identified, knew each other or had any prior interaction. Zepeda entered the U.S. without authorization in 2018 and was deported to Guatemala a few days later. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security said in a statement it was unclear when he had unlawfully re-entered.
Nasir, this doesn't make any sense. I don't know the motive, and how is
Let me stop this, brother. Go ahead, good brother.
yeah, like how okay, so there's no motive. The person that set this woman on fire, he doesn't know her. So what is this all about? Like, who just does that? Like something. Yeah,
these cats do that though, brother. These cats do that. They don't have to have a motive. I mean, especially in New York, brother. There's a lot of cuckoo birds over there in New York, and they don't have to have a reason or motive to do anything to you. They just, bro. You ever walk the streets of New York?
I've never been to New York,
bro. You're not missing nothing, bro. You're not missing nothing. Especially, they're walking through the streets of New York. You're not missing nothing. But you can get a good concert or some good gear there. But as far as like walking the streets and interacting with some of the people, you're not missing a damn thing, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I tell you this much. From what people have told me, that when you're walking down the streets of New York and people just bump into you, like, and it's nothing. Oh, no, we got a problem. What do you mean you bumping into me? You ain't gonna say sorry or excuse me or nothing? Oh, no, it's like New York might not work for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on from this because we dealt with this before. We dealt with the next video. I want to get to the other ones that I want to show. We dealt with that situation.
The NYPD is facing scrutiny after another high-ranking official steps down. Chief of Department Jeffrey Maddrey has resigned following accusations of sexual misconduct. And News 12's Edric Robinson.
I want to move on from there and go to New York State, not New York City. This didn't happen in New York.
This isn't in New York City. This is in New York State.
And this one here is brother T. Riggles, is methods to my madness on how I do things and how I like. I don't want to be the type that does a psychological operation, but I want to keep my people aware of who we encounter and who we're dealing with when we encounter them. Okay, so check this out.
But live picture there over New York City Harbor there in Lady Liberty. What I want to do now, because we heard from New York Attorney General Letitia James, also from Governor Kathy Hochul, James releasing footage from the investigation into the death of Robert Brooks here. I want to put this tweet up. This is from our colleague there at Fox 5 New York, Linda Schmidt, with body camera footage there. I mean, remember, viewer discretion is advised. She says, upstate prisoner beaten to death. Correction officers' body cam videos were released today by Letitia James in the death of Robert Brooks at the Marcy Correctional Facility. And Hochul has issued a statement as well. It says 14 people will be fired over this. So this is an ongoing investigation into the death of Robert Brooks. He died December the 10th of this year after an encounter with New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision officers. This was at Marcy Correctional Facility in Marcy, New York. That's in Oneida County. Now, the day before, on December the 9th, Brooks was transferred from Mohawk Correctional Facility to Marcy Correctional Facility. Those are both in the same county, Oneida County, according to James. Brooks, she says, who was handcuffed with his hands behind his back, was then taken into a medical examination room where the events captured in the video took place here. So remember, we want to bring you some of this body camera.
It takes a total coward, beyond coward, to continuously, repeatedly punch somebody with their hands cuffed behind their back. You got free shots to a person's ribs, their chest, to their face, and they just continuously do it to the point that the brother dies.
Video, viewer discretion is advised. Let's take some of that. All right, so this was just released today by the office of New York Attorney General Tish James here. And so what you're watching right now is the moment in the wake of the transfer of Brooks from one facility to another here. So according to James, when he was transferred to this medical examination room, you're going to see it in just a moment, he was pronounced dead in the early morning hours of December 10th. But the action here, all right, we're going to watch it. Viewer discretion is advised. And there is Brooks there after being transferred from one facility to another. You are going to see the actions, and it's very difficult to watch. It's graphic. Officers there appearing to beat Brooks there. All right, so if you're just joining us for this story, this is what we know. This body-worn camera released by Attorney General Tish James's office that appears to show members of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision officers there at Marcy Correctional Facility beating Robert Brooks. Brooks was handcuffed with his hands behind his back. He was then taken to a medical examination room there where the events captured in the video took place, she says. Now, Brooks was then transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead in the early morning hours of December the 10th there. Now, Governor Hochul's office said 14 members here have been fired for their role in this. We also are getting statements in from elected leaders in New York. We're going to step away from this video. You're going to hear from James in just a second here. Let's put this up. So this is from State Senator of New York, Rob Ort. He says this: I'm sickened by the brutal and senseless attack at Marcy Correctional Facility. The footage is absolutely appalling, and these violent actions cannot be tolerated. While this incident will understandably outrage New Yorkers, it's important to recognize that this horrific event does not reflect the dedicated service of the countless correction officers.
While they always use this template that it doesn't reflect, you know, it doesn't reflect the policies or the department or the dedicated service of the countless correction officers who risk their lives every day to maintain order and safety in our prisons. Some of those guys who are commissioned to be correction officers, some of them who are commissioned to that so-called duty belongs in prison them damn selves. They always use that template statement. I think this was a what you call it, a cut and paste and just post it, because it's no different from what they always say when something happened like this.
And you know, it's crazy. I'm gonna tell you right. You know, it was funny that, not funny, but you know, these numbers. You know, I saw 14 somewhere, and this is totally organized, and someone caught him in this act, because this is not the first time. There's no one can tell me that those group of guys that were in that room, this is not their first rodeo doing that to someone.
Oh no, it's not. Of course not.
This shit crazy, yo. Like,
Looney, what's up, Looney Tunes? Peace, my brother.
Who risk their lives every day to maintain order and safety in our prisons. He says those responsible must be held fully accountable. There is no excuse for this behavior. That's from New York State Senator Rob Ort. In the meantime here, let's play the original announcement today by New York State Attorney General Letitia James.
Good afternoon. Today, my office is releasing video from the investigation into the death of Mr. Robert Brooks. Mr. Brooks had been incarcerated at Mohawk Correctional Facility and was transferred to Marcy Correctional Facility on December 9th. During the incident, he was handcuffed with his hands behind his back. He was pronounced dead at Wynn Hospital in Utica on December 10th. I do not take lightly the release of this video, especially in the middle of the holiday season. But as Attorney General, I release these videos because I have a responsibility and duty to provide the Brooks family, their loved ones, and all New Yorkers with transparency and accountability. My deepest condolences go out to Mr. Brooks's family. Under New York law, my office investigates every case in which an officer of the law, including a correctional officer, may have caused the death of a civilian. On December 16th, my office announced that it had opened an investigation into Mr. Brooks's death. As in every case, the attorneys and investigators in my office are conducting an exhaustive review of the facts and the evidence. As Attorney General, you have my word that we will use every possible tool available to us to investigate this death thoroughly and swiftly. As part of the investigation, my office obtained video from body-worn cameras that 4 of the correction officers were wearing at the time of the incident. The 4 officers had their body-worn cameras powered on, but did not activate them. So their cameras were recording video in standby mode without recording sound. My team met with Mr. Brooks's family earlier this week, and they viewed the footage. These videos are shocking and disturbing, and I advise all to take appropriate care before choosing to watch them. We are releasing 8 videos today from 4 officers' body-worn cameras. 4 videos, one from each officer, that each run for the full 30 minute length of the standby mode recording, and a second version of the same 4 videos, which have been cropped to show only footage involving Mr. Brooks and the interactions between the officers and Mr. Brooks. Again, I encourage taking caution before viewing. I want to reiterate that we are investigating this case thoroughly and using every tool at our disposal to ensure that there is transparency and accountability for the events that preceded Mr. Brooks's death. I also want to make clear that this video and the conduct of these officers should not reflect poorly on the work and professionalism of the countless correction officers and correctional facility nurses throughout the state who go to work every day to protect and serve those in their care. And now we will play the 4 cropped videos I mentioned earlier. And all 8 videos will be.
All right, so that was the message there from Tish James. So wanted to make sure we got that in. We do have the statement up from New York Governor Kathy Hochul here. Let's put this up. She says, like all New Yorkers.
Can I please ask everybody to like and share this video? And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the Enemy's Public. Subscribe to my brother, T. Wriggles. T. Wriggles, can you put your link in the chat so the people can subscribe to you?
I was outraged and horrified after seeing footage of the senseless killing of Robert Brooks. She goes on to say, I have been clear that is the responsibility of the New York State Department of Corrections and Community Supervision to provide appropriate care and protection for those in its custody, and I will not tolerate anyone who violates that responsibility. She says that is why I ordered an immediate and full investigation into the death of Robert Brooks and further directed DOCCS Commissioner Martuscello to begin the termination process for the 14 individuals who were involved in his fatal attack. The state of New York has zero tolerance for individuals who break the law, and I am committed to holding everyone involved fully accountable. Once again, I want to offer my deepest condolences to Brooks's family and loved ones as they grieve his tragic death. I'm grateful to the Attorney General and her team, our state police, and everyone working with us to ensure justice is served in this case here. So wanted to make sure we put that statement up as well, covering this story from all sides, all angles there, and definitely that body camera footage, very difficult to watch. If there are any more updates on this story, we'll make sure to bring them to you. But let's take a quick commercial break. We'll see everyone in just a moment.
This is sad, man. This is sad. This is I remember, Nasir, I was reading. I remember reading a KKK manifesto, and that manifesto was saying how they're going to become even more invisible. They're going to be our doctors, our lawyers, our policemen, our judges. And then I read the gay manifesto, which sounded so much alike. But this KKK thing, look, we've been, and I, just in case of all of America, if you didn't know this, we have been infiltrated for sure. And the corruption, as you're showing here, and it's kind of making me, it's just like a confirmation on what I knew 20 years ago, that, we're in this system here. And it's very what my, what Mr. Gregory would say, we're in the most evil, nasty, insane, ungodly, unethical system in the history of the planet. And I will never forget those words Mr. Gregory said, because that is absolutely 10,000% truth here, where a person's life can be taken, handcuffed, beaten to a pulp because they probably wanted a body. Man, that's heartbreaking. You there, Brother Nasir?
We're living in a perilous time, brother. And when we think that people have done the most evil, they will prove us wrong by doing something even more evil. That's the time we're living in. Brother Dick Gregory was absolutely correct in his assessment of what time we're in. But, we can't chill until the next episode, brother. We have to be, counter, we got to be proactive, counteractive, and counter, and proactive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can't allow people to do things to us and react. We got to be proactive, preventive. That's what we got to do. And it takes us coming together and not caring who we lose as a so-called ally, because we say, look, we have our people, we have to handle our business as a people. We don't want people stealing from us. We don't want people abusing us. We don't want people harming us. And no benevolent politician is going to stop that from happening to us. It's our condition, and it's our condition to change. So I thank you for coming through, brother, and chopping up with me. I thank Philly OG for coming up and chopping up with me. It's always good talking with you, brother, and chopping it up with you. And I'll be in touch on some other subjects that we can build on. And I want to thank everybody in the chat. Looney Tunes, P. Moses, Executive Sessions, David M., T. Cortez, Executive Sessions, P. Moses, Linda Owadia, Today Can You Dig It, Leonard Diuda, Goddess D of Love. Let me see what we got here. I want to thank everybody who came through. I want to thank my wife. She's always watching. She's my biggest supporter. And if you haven't, the link is pinned. If you haven't purchased my wife's book, Fire, it's out. You can go to Amazon, paperback or Kindle. Fire 2 will be out shortly. She's working on it now. As a matter of fact, let me play the promo real quick while we have people here.
Get your copy of Fire. It's definitely a must-read. If you enjoy hood books, this one is it. Just like the title of the book, it's officially Fire. Get it on Amazon, paperback or Kindle.
Yes, my brother, you know, Fire 2 will be out. The finale will be out. Oh, thanks for Mama Love for tapping into. I forgot Mama Love. And if you haven't purchased my wife's book, Fire, the link is in the chat. A great book, a good read. If you want a good read, check my wife's book out, Fire. Fire 2 will be out shortly. She's working on it now. And my brother, T. Wriggles, if you want to say something in closing, my good brother, feel free to do so.
Well, I tell you that this Bro.Nasir, thank you for having me on. Thank you for bringing the awareness to everyone. You know, this is totally needed in all aspects of this game we're in. And what else can I say, man? Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. You know, so I really do thank you, Bro.Nasir. And we're going to do some big things. You know, we need to make a movie out of your wife's book. I tell you that much right now. That should be in the works for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And shouts out to the chat, man. Much love to you guys, man.
Indeed, indeed, but my brother. Until next time, my brother T. Wriggles. Salute to you, brother. Peace and power.
Sure.
And until next time, this is the Enemy's Public. I am Bro.Nasir. Like, share, subscribe. Section. Peace.